What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another jam-packed episode of the Viall Files reality recap style. I'm your host, Nick, joined by the household of Allie, sweet boy Justin. We got Leia. Sierra is back, our also pop culture correspondent. Like, I feel like Nally just kind of upgraded as like mother of the household.
Mother, yeah.
House mother.
She's house mother. And soon to be back at reality recap. She's already returned to going deeper. For those, I know everyone has missed Nally's presence, and soon to be back at reality recap. And our special guest today, returning to the show, the one and only Emily Longeretta from Variety. How are you, Emily? How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I was kind of hoping I would see Natalie today, but I understand.
Yeah.
She's got some stuff going on.
Thank you for understanding.
A little busy.
Yeah. You know, she's excited to come back, but it's a lot sometimes.
Of course.
So. She sends her wishes. She says hi to the reality recap audience. Be sure to tune in. Oh, by the way, big episode this Thursday. AD from Love is Blind is with us. Her exclusive podcast premiere interview following her being left at the altar, and we will be, I know, a little R&R for you on Going Deeper. The reunion comes out, I think, Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so we'll be breaking down the reunion along with interviewing AD on Thursday's episode. So tune in for that. So that'll be good. That'll be fun. Lots going on this weekend. Oscars, that happened. I mean, what did we think?
All I can think about is John Cena walking naked on stage.
He looked good.
He looked
John
good,
Cena
yeah.
and Ryan Gosling, I mean, really just own the show, right?
Yeah, that was the two. Ryan Gosling can sing. I think people forget that he was a former Disney Mickey Mouse Club guy.
I know. There was a video was circling last night on Twitter, and I was like, people all forgot about this? Everyone was like, oh my gosh, he can sing. I was like, guys, he got his start with Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. Like,
it is really annoying in Hollywood. Like, watching
Ryan Gosling.
Thank you.
Okay.
Watching Ryan Gosling sing reminded me of what it's like to go to karaoke in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, I would never.
Because you go to karaoke anywhere else, every once in a while there's someone who maybe can kind of sing. You go to karaoke in Hollywood, you're like, oh my God, like there's like a bunch of like undiscovered sensations
that
everywhere.
Also just happen to be beautiful and like
it's like holy
the
shit.
whole package. You're like sitting in the corner like, oh.
It is really wild. Anyway, so yeah, it turns out he's got a beautiful voice.
Oh yeah.
I saw a couple tweets out there saying Justin Timberlake must be thanking his lucky stars. Ryan Gosling chose acting instead of music. But yeah, he did well. Congrats to Emma Stone, who won her second Oscar.
Yeah.
That was definitely my favorite moment of the night.
Yeah.
She looks so genuine. Yeah. I usually hate the surprise face. That's like my biggest cringe at any award show because I'm like, come on, you weren't surprised. She looked, she's a great actor, but like she looked genuinely surprised. I mean, and I think people just really thought Lily Gladstone was going to take it. So.
I don't know why it felt like, it seemed like this one was maybe, I don't know, more meaningful than her first, like you win your first. Like I know anything about winning an Oscar. But like, yeah, it's just like to be able to come back and do it again. She referenced her daughter. She's became a mom, and to come back to work and then still fucking crush it must be very meaningful. I was rooting for Emma. We have some mutual friends. I've met her a couple times. It's like very nice. So there was an extra kind of, that was cool. Yeah, roller skating with her mom. I think I've told that story on the show before. It was one of the more interesting nights of my life. A few years back, Emma had a fundraiser. We have some mutual friends. It was at a roller skating rink, so I got invited because I roller skate. And I was just doing this laps. And then Emma's mom was there. She was a decent roller skater, but I was just like, well, I'm a good roller skater. So for like a good 45 minutes, I'm just skating backwards, holding Emma Stone's mom's hand. And I was like, yeah, I'll roller skate with you all fucking night. She was a very lovely lady, just very nice and very sweet.
This is so wholesome.
And then there was a moment right after that where Brie Larson, and I'm pretty sure the Haim sisters were there, because that is, so they had this little like VIP area of which I was, with the mutual friends, invited into that little room.
Was this in Hollywood or like in LA?
It was at World on Wheels. The one in Midtown, the roller skating rink. I think it's World on Wheels. I don't know, what's it called, Justin? There's Moonlight. And
Moonlight is in Glendale.
It wasn't.
Right?
Yeah, it wasn't at Moonlight.
World on Wheels is Mid-City. That's probably what you're talking about.
Mid-City. Okay, is it World on Wheels? Okay, so it was there, and another one of our mutual friends, she had brought her boyfriend, and they had this fight, and she started crying. And so I went over to my friend. Now, at this point, I had met Brie Larson before. She had invited me to her house when I was the Bachelor at a viewing party. So Brie was familiar with me. And I know like the Haim sisters watched The Bachelor pretty well, or at least they did. And so I didn't know this at the time, but like, so my friend was crying, right? And I went, and I've known my friend for a while. She had been getting in fights with her boyfriend for a while. And so it was like, oh, here we go again. But I noticed that she was crying, so I went over to console her and just be like, hey, you checking in? Are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine, whatever. And so like, I was like, okay. And I kind of patted her on the back and then got up and went roller skating.
Not the back pat,
Yeah, it's just like a little pat on the back. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go back and hit the lane, and started roller skating. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to me, Brie Larson and the Haim sisters are watching this, but they missed the first part. So they missed the part where my friend was fighting with her boyfriend. And they didn't really know if I was dating anyone. I had, I was the former Bachelor at this point. They weren't like following my love life at this. And so what they thought I was breaking up with my friend. And what they witnessed was the former Bachelor, like kind of patting what they thought was his, now ex-girlfriend, publicly breaking up with her. They thought I was publicly breaking up with her. Then patting her on the back, and then went and said, well, fuck it, I'm going to go roller skating. They think I'm a monster at this point.
Skating off into the distance.
Yeah. And then they went to our mutual friends, like, did you see that Nick was, why did he break up with his girlfriend and go roller skating afterwards? They're like, no, he's not. He is not dating that girl.
Why did he bring her here for this? Yeah,
brought her there to publicly break up with her.
So for a moment, they thought I was, and I think they finally, I think word got out that I wasn't actually dating her, but I don't know for sure if they left. If some of those super famous celebrities left thinking like, well, wow, that motherfucker's an asshole.
I love that they made a whole storyline in their heads.
Yeah.
And they narrated it for themselves.
I mean, we all do that. Everyone does that, right?
They were, as far as I'm away from you, Justin, that's how, it was like this little small section, VIP section. So and they just were watching like this all go down, but they missed the first half of it. So, yeah. Anyways, congrats to Emma Stone.
Yeah. I will say she is very genuine, and we know that because she also missed an award going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of unplanned authenticity.
I know. I loved that she was like, I'm missing all the awards for Poor Things because I went to the bathroom at the wrong time. Yeah. So cute.
Yeah, she's very sweet. Oppenheimer. Congrats to Josh Peck and the entire Oppenheimer gang. Yeah. Oppenheimer really crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Josh Peck was in Oppenheimer, so
yeah.
And he's in front of the show.
I also have to say that this year, the fashion on the red carpet, I think, made the ghost of Joan Rivers so happy.
You thought it was
Truly some of the best I've seen in years.
In years.
Every single... I have a hard time. Like, usually I'm like, oh, it was kind of split. I feel like I have a hard time even thinking of bad fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone looked so good.
Favorite looks?
Carrie Mulligan's Balenciaga look was everything.
Yes, she looked amazing. She looked so good.
Margot Robbie looked amazing.
Mm-hmm. Zendaya.
Ariana Grande.
Great. Yep.
There was so many amazing looks this year, and usually fashion is like the hardest part for me to watch, where I'm like, what are we doing?
Same.
This year, everybody's stylist should get a raise.
And at the Vanity Fair party, they had Sydney Sweeney was in this dress that they
kind of a Marilyn Monroe thing.
Yeah, and Angelina Jolie wore it like 20 years ago to the Oscars. And putting it side by side, I was like, oh, it literally looks amazing on both people. Like, this was such a flawless, timeless dress.
Truly.
Such a good night for fashion.
Vanessa Hudgens is pregnant.
Yeah. She her red carpet debut with the baby.
Congratulations,
and very
Vanessa.
pregnant. It doesn't seem like she's newly pregnant. It seems a couple months probably.
Yeah, she hit it too. She did a Kylie Jenner. Nobody knew.
Love that.
Well, congratulations to her and her partner. Bradley Cooper brought his mom.
And Ryan Gosling brought his
sister.
How
do we love those
I love a family affair.
Same.
I was happy that Bradley Cooper didn't bring Gigi Hadid. I feel like then everyone would have been talking about it, and it would have been a whole thing.
But that would have been fun for us.
So fun for us.
I saw something. It's just like, who else could have Bradley Cooper brought because he hates his daughter?
Oh, that's so sad.
He loves her now.
He loves her now. Yeah.
Wait,
It
It only took him 8 months or so.
Yeah, it took
I don't feel connected to this thing at
Yeah.
all.
can we also talk that De Niro looked like the most miserable person on the planet?
I would be if I were him.
I know,
Imagine
but like,
how many Oscars that motherfucker's
I
been
know,
to.
but
Like,
like-
he's just got to be like, fuck this.
and now he has like a baby on the way
Yeah.
again, and he's like, I don't know. I was like, can you crack a smile, please? Like, come on.
Do you think Leo didn't show up because he got snubbed? Do you think he was protesting?
I think there was probably a part of him that was like, I need to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Leo, it's like, why? These things must be so boring.
But he has been for so long supporting Lily that would have been nice if he came just because she was nominated.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
why
it-
didn't he? Why
yeah,
wasn't he there?
I
Do we
don't.
know?
I don't think we know. We had our Power of Women event. We had honored Lily, and Leo actually came to introduce her, and it was
Oh.
the best. It was. They have such a sweet friendship that I was kind of surprised that he wasn't there just to like cheer her on.
I will say a source had mentioned that he was forced not to come because he's currently filming a production for Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, that
okay.
could be
He's
true, yeah.
filming-
So it was like
okay.
they're filming at the same time, so it just didn't align.
So it's not like he was later seen that night at like
Went to the parties,
like
but
the
skipped
clubs,
to
you know? Because it's not hard to find Leo at a club
No.
in LA.
No,
Yeah, it's not exactly a oh my god, I can't believe he's here. Like
left the house. I did like that they brought out so many former winners to introduce. I thought that was a
nice.
cool thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm a little interested in how they picked which winners to bring out because there was a little bit of lack of diversity. They could have done a little better there. That's just my shout out, but I was happy with most.
well,
of
they
the
didn't
choices.
exactly have like a very like it hasn't been that long since the nominations and winners were more diverse.
Right, but I mean, not having Halle Berry was an option.
Mm.
Well, do you think they didn't ask Halle Berry?
I don't know. I guess that's something we should ask, but I should ask the producers. But I don't.
Maybe she was also filming.
Maybe she was. Yeah. I don't know. It's just there are
Because
some.
yeah, you're right. You invite her.
You have to.
You, like-
Who doesn't
You do.
invite? She should be invited to everything.
Everything. She's on your list
Yeah,
of like
she's the top of the list. Like I don't.
just
Should
like no, she wasn't in the movie. I don't care. Can we still ask
Doesn't
her?
matter.
just ask her. John's yeah.
I was gonna say I think they should have invited Kate Middleton.
I mean,
I think that would have been a really good opportunity for everybody.
Where is she? Oh my god. At first I thought this was like just the internet having fun
Same.
and clearly Kate was fine. It's just the weird royal family. She's just not up for it. And then the internet was just losing their mind. And now it's like, is she okay? Is she alive? Are they together? There's something
wait. So
nefarious
the latest
going
thing
on.
was she was in the car with him, right? The photo of the
This
side
morning,
of her face.
the side of her face. But like, wait, a week ago when we were recording this last week, when we got done recording, Allie's like, breaking news.
Mhm.
There's this very fucking blurry picture of Kate Middleton in a car when every other pop photo we've ever seen of Kate Middleton in a car is 4K. You know, and it's
Literally
like
the best photos of
the
all
best
time.
photos ever. But this one is like super pixelated. Like
Yeah.
it could be her. It could be a million other
Anyone
Yeah.
else.
brunettes.
Could have been me. Like
Yeah,
I,
it literally could have been you.
anyone.
Like, it could have been Sierra. None of them. Like, yeah.
Could have been Natalie. Like it literally any
Just
brunette.
squint your eyes. You're just like, oh my god, Kate Middleton. Holy
They
shit.
literally brought back the girl who's playing her in The Crown, and they're like, sit in a car with Carol.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh
So
my
then that
gosh.
happens, and then it was Mother's Day in England yesterday,
Mhm.
and they released this photo of Kate Middleton and the kiddos.
Oof.
And then quickly the internet started like doing their thing, only to discover this is a very fabricated photo. You know, like yeah, it's just like looking
Everything
at
about it is
the
Photoshop.
window panes in the back, like how crooked like
No,
that line is
It's
back.
the
yeah,
biggest one
right
for
there.
me is that on her upper chest you can literally see that there's another photo patched on top of the body.
Where am I seeing this?
Like
It's a little hard in this
It's hard
image,
to
but
see
like
from
where the
there, but-
drawstring are, right? Where the
it's
strings
like
are.
right on her chest. There's like a line where you can see that the top half was patched onto the bottom
Oh, I can't see
of
it
her
here,
body.
but oh, did you see like? And then now people are trying to find the sources of the image. There was one where it was like seemed to be sourced from a magazine cover,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
and it looks like the exact same photo when you do a side by
yeah.
side.
I mean, TikTok is going crazy with this. They're going back and looking at images from 2023 of Kate wearing this sweater, and they think that it was white, and then they darkened it, and then her daughter was wearing this shirt with the same shoes.
And then this morning, from their if I understand correctly, William and Kate's joint Twitter account, it was in the POV of Kate, as if she is actually tweeting, which we all know
there's no way in the
she
world
doesn't. She's a statement like, oh my guys, oops, I'm sorry, just like playing with editing. I'm an amateur.
Like, you're telling me Kate Middleton's scrolling through Facetune on her phone
and just like having fun. I mean, like, guys, I want to post this. Like,
we think she's sitting there on we think she knows how to use Photoshop.
Right.
Like,
she said for Mother's Day, this is the best I can do. I feel like we're in like an extended episode of Black Mirror
Truly.
when it comes
100%.
to this, where it's just like you are now in it. We don't know if are any of these people together. Like,
well, Allie also pointed out the weather. Like, for those of you listening in London, what is it? Is it spring? Is it green and sunny? Like,
that could be.
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, there's so much going
But there's
on.
like, we're led to believe that Kate is photoshopping her own photos. We all know the one thing that would squash all these rumors is just some sort of selfie video from Kate being like, "Hey guys, sorry, like playing around, totally okay, having fun. Here are the kids."
But as just playing devil's advocate, does she really need to do that? No, she's a royal. She doesn't need to do that. Who cares what people think? That's kind of in my mind. While I enjoy this and while I would love to see her and make sure she's okay, I don't think it's really necessary.
Well, it's not necessary, but like now it's gotten weird.
It is weird. It is weird.
It's just gotten so fucking weird. It's gotten to the point where even people like me, who are just like, who generally thinks the royal family conversations are all just silly to begin with. And then again, when a couple weeks ago, when this conversation started, it was like, clearly she's fine. Clearly she's just like doing her royal thing and we don't understand. But now it's gotten fucking bizarre. To post this photo, which is clearly they couldn't get together.
if you want to talk about unnecessary, like this Photoshopped image was very unnecessary.
Yeah. And so that creates so many more questions.
Yeah, you're right.
And now it's just like, now there's a lot of conversations about like, is divorce imminent? Like, does William have like a side chick? And is Kate like refusing to do anything? Like, why is this happening? And again, it could all be squashed by a simple video. And again, you're right. She doesn't need to do that, but she also doesn't need to Photoshop
she shouldn't
a photo.
have done this. No.
You know,
and then tweeting it even this morning. It's like, oh no, stop. You're continuing to dig deeper.
And the lies that they're coming up with are just not good.
Right.
You know? Like, is Riley also Kate Middleton's publicist? It's like when she's not helping out Tom Sandoval, like,
Crisis PR.
Your Crisis PR. She's flying over to the royal palace and be like, all right, Kate, here's what we need to do. We need to Photoshop.
Let's find 4 different photos, one of each of you, and we're going to push it all into one.
Right?
Riley's just like, guys, just tell them that Kate was Photoshopping. Everyone will believe it. It's totally fine.
You would think they would put this through multiple rounds of review.
I'm just like, the royal family has enough money to hire decent Photoshop.
Truly.
Like, who fumbled the ball here?
Well, and don't they all have their own PR person, like per individual too, that I'm just like, how are we not coordinating here, being like, maybe this was not the best idea?
Well, yeah. I mean, anything they post, any tweet, any story, anything has to go through like at least 6 or 7 people. So it's like all of those people signed off.
Everybody.
But you didn't notice her skirt's not attached to her body?
And it's not just one thing. There are like 7 issues.
Yeah, like the hand is weird.
It's also just like, and this is just like a weird thing. Like all the kids' hands, they're
all
crossing their
twisting
their fingers as if like, hey, like
we need help.
Too. They're all one of their fingers is like this.
It's the middle finger over
Like
the
a
ring
claw.
finger. That's not even natural.
Yeah, the one all the way on the left. Like, what is happening there?
But is it
She's
natural?
also not wearing her iconic wedding ring.
Yeah, she's not wearing her wedding ring.
Diana's
Yeah.
ring.
Right.
So
like, why is she not wearing her ring?
well, that was the
it's
thing.
not her hand.
I would live in it.
Even before it's the story broke that this was a bullshit photo. Even when we thought it was a real photo, it was like, why isn't she wearing her wedding ring? It was like such a miss.
And you're telling me that all those people saw that and no one was like, hey, maybe we should Photoshop the ring on.
Kate's like, sorry, like
I'm busy.
So yeah, so if we're led to believe that Kate actually photoshopped this, did she Photoshop her ring out? Was that her making a statement? I don't know.
It could be like a Free Britney moment. The little things
That's what
matter.
it's giving.
Yeah. Well,
Giving free Britney.
Well, William's brother and his wife are thriving now.
I was surprised they weren't at the Oscars, to be honest.
They were probably just like having a ball, just getting. They were probably just deeply invested in the story.
They
must
love
be
that.
thrilled.
They love that it's
got
not on them.
The Spare and his wife must be thrilled. Yeah.
It's the tweet you sent that said the Princess of Wales is missing and the Spare Prince is in exile and the king is treating his cancer with herbs. If this were the 1300s, France would be looking to invade.
Yeah, truly, they would.
Literally.
Let's give the creator some. Who's the creator on that tweet?
It is Stephen Smith at the Stephen Smith.
There you go,
Amazing.
Stephen Smith. Yeah,
Like-
that's truly.
That's so true.
What is happening?
It is so bizarre. Anyways, thank you for the content. the
Also,
royal
did
family.
you see the clip of Ekin Sue on Big Brother UK? And
she's asking.
she's
It was
asking
Kate
her
Middleton's
uncle?
like
Her
uncle
uncle.
is on Big Brother.
Wow, I totally didn't see that.
Oh, it's
She's like,
hysterical.
"Hashtag."
She's just sitting there, just casually being like, "And so where's Kate Middleton?" And he's like, "Oh, well, like very uncle, like
Yeah.
a response being like, I have no idea, but like he's just like, we're not really talking. We don't know. Like when she's ready to come forward." And we're like, "Oh,
I
okay."
can't.
Of the horror of being a celebrity,
Mhm.
I could not imagine. Granted, I'm not ever close, but the horror of being a celebrity and then your uncle
Right.
being able to go
That's
on a Big
hor-
Brother show
So scary to me.
is just horrifying. I could not imagine some of my aunts and uncles or cousins being able to go on Big Brother because they're related to me. This
Well, Ariana Grande's brother went on Big Brother too.
Yeah, that's
Frankie.
deep.
yeah,
Yeah.
he became.
I mean, he became an
I feel
actual
that's
celebrity
Sorry, yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Like the Middletons have been they are hand in hand with the firm. They've always
Mhm.
wanted Kate to be with William. Her mom had her switch schools last minute so that she could meet William and they
That's not
fall in
weird at all.
love. So it's how did Carol sign off on her brother doing this?
Come on, Carol.
Do you really think she signed off?
I don't, maybe he went rogue. Maybe he's the Harry of their family.
Everyone has a Harry. Everyone has a spare. But yeah. It's like the fact that her uncle is on Big Brother
Wild.
is wild. Is it? Should we get into Bravo World?
Traitors.
Is that kind of Bravo World? I mean, Andy's hosting the reunion.
Bravo, Jason.
Yeah, it's Peacock.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I mean, in the Traitors reunion, he did say Bravo people are more sensitive and take things personal versus game show people see these jabs and these manipulation as just a move.
Well, yeah, that was the whole overarching theme of the reunion was
Yeah.
this is a game, and no one's I don't
Calm
know.
down,
Certain
everybody,
people,
yeah.
everyone needed to take a chill pill. Everyone was real stressed at that
Very-
reunion.
anyways, it is Traitors time. It's on Peacock every Thursday at 9. It's now over, but so spoiler alert, we're going to talk about the season if you haven't watched it yet. But yeah, so congratulations to Trishelle and CT, which is kind of funny that the first person casted out was Johnny Bananas because it was the three of them from the challenge. He must be really upset about that.
Uh-huh.
He's the
He
first one to
was.
go.
The challenge was the first show I ever covered when I became a
That's right,
journalist.
you
I've been
are.
watching it
Yeah.
from the beginning. I'm a diehard, so this season was my dream.
So the big question is, was CT and Trishelle in on it? Did they screw over
1000%.
MJ.
MJ? And right, 1,000%.
I feel like they were no matter who goes to the end, if we're standing at that fire with 4 other people, we're eliminating people until it's the 2 of us.
Well, didn't one of them even say that in the show where they were like, we made a deal that it would be the 2 of us at the end?
Yeah, and CT said it when he was voting or whatever, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Nope, there's not one other person I trust, and not one other person I want to split that pot with."
Right. But do you think that Trishelle voted for CT at first just to kind of
Yes.
cover their tracks?
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, she explained. I watched a few podcasts that she did, and she was saying that she claimed she actually thought he was a traitor for a minute. I was like, "There's no way. There's
way.
no way in the world."
There's no way.
She's just covering.
She
I
was
also
on it
think
th- she was-
producers were like, maybe write CT so this can be a little more dramatic.
Maybe, yeah. But clearly they know how to play the games.
For
They're
sure.
game players that they've made a literally entire career out of it. And Trishelle was on top of it all season long. And if she thought that CT was actually a traitor, this would not have been the first time we're hearing about it is on her PR podcast tour. Please, come on. we're not that stupid, Trishelle.
No,
And then at the reunion, they were like, MJ, get over it. Listen, MJ has a right to be so fucking pissed.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
I mean, they screwed her out of how much money?
Would've been like
200.
What was the
70?
pot
Would've been
at that
like
point?
200 and-
250
Yeah.
was the pot, I think. And
No, that
then
well,
It was
they
like
each took 100.
208
yeah.
in some sense because I think they got 104 or
Yeah.
something each.
Yeah.
104,000. So it would have been
divide that by 3.
Roughly 69,000.
So give or take 70 grand. They were like, sorry, bye. Like,
I mean,
also,
after
it's a
taxes.
game and you're playing to win money.
yeah.
So, like, the most famous, infamous thing that happened on the challenge was Johnny Bananas stealing from his partner at the very end when he won
Yes.
with Sarah. And they introduced a twist that was like, oh, by the way, you want to steal the pot from your partner? Like, the person who got you to the end. And he was like, I'm taking the money.
Yeah.
And took the whole thing.
Or remember the Bachelor
Yes.
pad with,
Exactly. It's
what was
like-
his name, Nick or Nick something?
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
that was
god,
so long
I
ago.
remember that.
Yeah.
And he took the money.
He took the
Yeah.
money
Oh
because, like,
my
if you
God.
both
It's like-
agreed to share,
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
you would both split it, and
Right.
if you said keep it, and the other person said share, the person who said keep it got to
Gets
keep
to
it. And if
keep
you
it.
both say keep it,
Nobody gets
you got
it.
No one gets it.
anything.
Right.
And everyone kind of went into it with like, we're always going to share. We're always going to share.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
Love
Take the
Island
money.
is
You're-
like that
yeah.
too, but
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's ever.
No, they've never
But
stolen.
on Bachelor, was it Bachelor Pad? That I remember that.
Yeah.
That
And they
was,
started
like,
doing it on
shocking.
Ari the One,
I
too.
think they
at
need
the
to bring
end.
Bachelor Pad back and get rid of Bachelor in Paradise.
So the
agree.
producers had told me when they were talking about now that they're in this whole golden world and golden is the future, I would say, that they are like they would want to do something like Bachelor Pad, because I was like, Golden Paradise is not going to work. You can't have that age group living on a beach. So, but they could do. They said like they'd be interested in doing like a Bachelor Pad Golden.
Well, they
edition.
could do
but like also
competition?
reality TV competition shows are like in vogue now.
Totally.
So like
Yeah.
maybe just Bachelor Pad was ahead of its time. Bring it back.
Yeah.
It'll even at least the first season will do very well.
Oh yeah.
The thing about Bachelor Pad, if Bachelor would just be willing to like let go of like they're so focused on being on brand when it comes to love. So like even when Bachelor Pad was on, it was always like, where are the love stories? Do people fall in love? And it was like they have a hard time letting go of this show is obviously first and foremost a show about finding love, which
Mhm.
I totally get. But I would hope that if they bring a show like Bachelor Pad back, they would loosen up on that.
Yeah.
And maybe they could like bring back some of your alumni that are in relationships and married,
Totally.
you know, and just have it be a competition
Nick actually
show.
is pitching this because he wants
Yeah.
to go on.
I-
Like we're all seeing this, right? He's like, bring back people who are about to get
I-
married who just had a baby.
I will. I'm not. I would. I would never go on another Bachelor show ever again. No offense to the Bachelor franchise. I love them, you know, but I'm just like done with that.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you.
But they should. They absolutely should do that. They should let go of the whole love aspect
Yeah.
and bring people back.
Remember
I
when
think.
they
both.
tried to do Winter Games? Remember that?
Oh,
No one watched it.
No.
Yeah.
I watched it.
I watched it too.
I'm a competition
I did
girl,
too,
so like
yeah.
that to me, I'm like, I need the competition.
I
They
heard
had all
it
the
was-
people from
I
Canada.
heard-
Yeah.
I
It was
heard
fun.
it was like good.
It was-
the show itself. I
Yeah.
heard it was good, but
It was well
I did
produced
not
well.
watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was produced well.
That's when Astrid and is
Yeah.
that when they got together?
Yeah, I can't
That's how
remember
they
his
got-
name.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah.
I
Kevin,
think
yeah.
so, yeah.
The firefighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wins. Picture a wardrobe upgrade with quality essentials at an unbeatable price. Quince has you covered with timeless pieces that never go out of style. You'll have them in your closet forever. They have must-haves like cashmere crewneck sweaters from $50, iconic 100% leather jackets, and versatile flow knit activewear. You cannot find a cashmere sweater for $50. That's insane.
No, it's truly insane.
And 100% leather jackets? Sign me up.
It's time to get a variety in your closet, even when you're on a budget. You know, get some of the finer pieces in life on your body and in your closet and not break the bank.
I also love that Quince only works with factories that are safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes.
I have a workout set from Quince, and every time I wear it to the gym, my trainer is like, "Where is this from? It is so high quality." And I'm like, "It's from Quince. You would never even know how the price tag was so low."
If y'all haven't noticed, I only wear black t-shirts on this podcast, and it's because I get most of them from Quince. They have the best basics. They're such good quality. And I just, there's nothing wrong with like a classic tee.
Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/VIALL for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/VIALL to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/VIALL. Zoa! You've got to check out Zoa, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's energy drink. Zoa just launched a brand new campaign. It's all about the BDE, Big Dwayne Energy. They've got a really awesome new commercial that you can check out at Zoa's Instagram or YouTube channels. Zoa Energy is a better-for-you energy drink with great taste, electrolytes, B and C vitamins, and 0 sugar. It's made with caffeine from natural sources to provide balanced energy with no crash. When you drink Zoa Energy drinks, it gives you the Big Dwayne Energy, which gives you the swag, confidence, and energy to help you conquer your day. Here at the Viall Files, my team has loved Zoa to give them the extra boost to get through their days. With ingredients that enhance energy levels, Zoa Energy helps my team find the spark and motivation. They've got 8 incredible flavors like tropical punch, wild orange, white peach, and now frosted grape, which happens to be one of my team's favorites along with cherry limeade. Get some big Dwayne energy and order Zoa Energy today. Available online and at stores near you. Find out where you can find it at zoaenergy.com and find retailers like Amazon, 7-Eleven, Costco, Circle K, and more. All right, it's Bravo time. Summer House.
Yeah.
Kick things off with Summer House.
Wild.
I'm just so like blown away. The more I'm watching Summer House, the more I'm just like confused as to like Lindsay's PR strategy being the PR girly that she is.
It's, again, what I said last time where I'm just like, I don't understand how you have so many seasons and can't watch things back. But like what I'm learning is that she has her version of reality. And she lives that in the moment. And then that's what she's telling everybody. But being able to watch it in real time, it's like, oh, there's zero accountability for your side of like for your doing in this destruction of your relationship.
But it's just like crazy to me because like she came on this show and told her side of the story, which again, very grateful that she did.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lindsay, for coming on. And we wanted to give her the floor to share her side of the story. And her side of the story was at the time, and again, from our POV, haven't watched any part of the season, was like, hey, there's reality TV and then there's like, you know, your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like Carl setting up Lindsay and blindsiding her on camera. Very like Ari season when he broke up with Becca on camera and was one of the most hated men in America. Truly. I mean, the wrath that Ari on Bachelor felt was, I mean, it got to levels of almost scary. Like, holy shit, Bachelor Nation, chill the fuck out. Like, this is a TV show. I mean, it was, people were putting up billboards.
Yeah, it's not okay.
It was fucking crazy, the hate that Ari got for simply deciding that the woman he picked after 9 weeks of dating and 6 hours with her, realizing that maybe that wasn't the girl he wanted to spend the rest of her life with. Meanwhile, because he broke up with her, simultaneously made her the Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. So in reality, what actually happened is that Ari, instead of like saying, hey, instead of breaking up with you 7 months from now, I'm just going to break up with you now so that you can be the Bachelorette. But nevertheless, he was still fucking crucified.
Mm-hmm.
1,000%.
Just absolutely destroyed. So here we are, Lindsay, kind of in the same vein and being like, hey, I know it's fucking TV, but this motherfucker ended our relationship on TV. And we're sitting here being like, God, what a fucking asshole, you know?
He called producers before he told you.
How
like,
could you?
Yeah, monster.
Completely leaving out the fact that we're about it. And then what I don't understand about Lindsay's strategy is that like her coming on this show,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pretty large platform. We have a pretty large reach.
Mm-hmm.
When Bravo characters come on, like not only are they telling the story, they're also like telling our audience, the millions of people who listen every month, to like, oh, maybe we should watch Summer House. This seems like a really juicy story. Like, boy, I want to, like, Lindsay was promoting Summer House. So she came on here to tell her story, being like, you should watch this shit. And I was like, I'm definitely going to watch Summer House for the first time.
Right.
Like, you know, I did my homework, you know, but I had not seen an episode.
Yeah.
But I'm invested in this season, only to now watch Lindsay, like, just completely every scene is about just throwing her then fiance under the bus.
Truly.
I couldn't imagine being in a relationship where like I'm constantly being called out by my partner to her girlfriends as like this terrible partner. It is wild to me.
2 years of sobriety down the drain because you didn't agree with her whole thing was that she thought the girls were going to feel weird about her going in a different car. And so she sat in the car and had Kyle and Carl being like, it's fine. You're nobody's worried about you. And she's like, no, you guys don't understand. To then saying that Carl got aggressive with her and calling him Cocaine Carl, where I'm just like, the fact that you could say that on camera at home and not even think twice about it, like, you are the problem. And then she goes on and makes her PR statement saying, I used the wrong words. Babe.
Yeah, you did.
You,
I mean, that's the thing. You're using language like you got aggressive with me. It's 2024.
Yeah.
You know, and we're
Can't say the word aggressive.
We are
Truly.
hyper vigilant.
Yeah.
You know,
Truly.
as Dorit said, words have meaning.
Words have meaning.
Yeah.
But what you said before, like that it's this far in and you're still not watching back, or you're still not realizing the cameras. Like, come on, this isn't your first season doing this. You aren't new at this.
1,000%.
You know what you're doing when you're saying that stuff and there's a camera in front of you.
You could have saved this for a phone call at home back in New York, or back in the city, but it's like you're doing this with people, with your castmates, knowing that he's going to have to come home and deal with it. And then it's her doubling down the next day and going and telling Danielle like the same story yet again, like repeated. And it's just like, oh, wow, you're not going to take any accountability for your part in this, but you want to turn everybody against Carl, who is your partner that you're choosing to spend the rest of your life with. And when she threw him under the bus with the whole like him not being able to figure out his career choice, and she was like, I got him a career coach $20,000 for 6 months and he still doesn't know what he wants to do. And it's just like, I don't know, it just gave me like a very icky feeling that I'm like, you're talking about your future partner like this.
If you're spending $20,000 on a career coach, you're wasting your
I
money.
mean,
like,
yeah,
right off the bat,
Yeah.
I can tell you that's a bad investment.
Red flag, you know?
Like, I do think Lindsay I think Scandival has really warped the sense of reality with some of these reality TV stars in thinking that they can have their Scandival moment. You know, like I think every reality TV star, when they see another reality TV star like pop, you know, over some sort of scandal, they all get very envious of that person and try to recreate that scandal. You can't create these organic, and I think for all the crazy speculation about Scandival being staged or manufactured by producers, I think the fact that you have other reality TV stars like Lindsay try to actually manufacture their own Scandival shows that like these types of things that go ultra viral and like really just like immerse themselves in the zeitgeist of pop culture, like to do something like that, it has to be this organic thing.
Yeah.
It can't be forced or contrived. You know, it really has to be this truly genuine moment. I'd be willing to bet that while Carl is breaking up with her on camera, she went into like Lindsay PR mode and started thinking about how she could spin this in her favor and completely lost track of like reality. Like she stopped thinking, she wasn't even paying attention to what was happening, and she thought, this is going to be my big moment. That must be it.
You're dead. I think you're dead on, just because the first episode, they were talking about going to the White House, and she was like, the only other person that would be invited is like Ariana. And then in the preview coming up, she tells Carl, she's yelling at him and says, you're acting like Sandoval right now. And it's like, why are these your references for everyday life?
It's not normal.
She has the notes down. She's like, okay, step 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Called it just so
but
you
like,
know.
had Lindsay just come on here and said, listen, like, yeah, like we had our problems and I played a role in our in our destruction, and like definitely you're gonna watch this season and you're gonna see some moments I'm not super proud of and things I could have said differently. Had she just said that, you know?
The lack of accountability.
But just to pretend none of that happened.
That's what they need to start spending instead of $20,000 on career coaches, accountability coaches. Okay,
That's
because nobody on Bravo,
mostly on reality TV,
You know?
nobody knows how to hold themselves accountable.
Well,
But
that's-
Bravo
yeah.
especially.
Yeah. I don't know. It was wild.
I mean, would it be better if she handled it like Scheana did in this recent episode?
What a tough episode for Scheana.
Yeah.
Oh.
What a tough episode.
Scheana had more tears than Lindsay.
Is
That's for
there
sure.
any chance that Scheana is just taking one for the team?
I don't think so.
Mm.
I think it's the lack of self-awareness yet again and throughout these casts, because she made a point in an after show saying that she's never been the star of a season, that she always gets a bad edit, and I'm like, babe, you do this to yourself.
I know. The blaming on the edit is I'm so done with it.
Right?
I'm so done with it. Like, you are choosing this.
This is you.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we have these moments on film.
Right. And of course there are things that get edited. We all know that. But
I could not believe it. My jaw dropped when Scheana was like, why can't just one moment be about me? And I'm thinking, Scheana, there have been so many moments that have been about you. You've had 2, not 1, 2 weddings
Yes.
on this show. A bachelorette party when she got into a van on that one trip and she famously said, I'd rather get gangbanged by all these guys in front of her then fiance. That moment was about her.
Her breakup with her fiance, that was on camera.
And then when she went back to her bachelorette party, also that was about her. And then
Good as Gold was on camera.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
She was the star of the parade, singing her song 75 times over and over again.
Yeah, there's been a ton of moments about her, you know. Also, like the season 10 finale, the most watched season of Vanderpump, she had the most iconic moment. Her conversation with Tom was her and she got credit for it. She was at the final thought of that season was a really great moment by Scheana.
We all thought Scheana changed her ways and was like, cool, you're not only are you a girl's girl now, but you're like standing up and saying what needs to be said. And then it's just like, we're back. Season 11, we're back.
The restraining order at the reunion.
Right.
Yeah, that was about her. Yeah.
And we were rooting for her. Like, truly, I was like, that's so fucked up.
I do think she gets a pat on the back for carrying this episode, though.
Yeah.
Like, at least 40 minutes of it was her.
Oh, it was all her.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it was awesome. Like, I loved watching it. Yeah. It was, you know, and it's like when the yoga instructor or whatever person was there, when they were like,
that's set up.
That was just so
what did
insane
she
to
say?
me.
What did she say when she was like, well, you know, and if you're not feeling good, don't hide it. You know, just Scheana was like, that's my cue. I'm like,
I'm not okay, actually, and I fucking hate you. Gone. We're like, oh, here we go. She cried more than she spoke this episode. It was,
my God.
Like, I was like, that is her new cardio, is crying. She was just like, I give so much. And I'm like, and I feel bad for her at the same time, just because it is the lack of self-awareness for me that I'm like, I don't doubt that is your truth, your reality. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, this is so not about you. And the idea that you're calling the person who actually got cheated on, looking for validation about your feelings.
What I don't understand in why the internet, like, where anyone who's like on this whole like Ariana needs to get over herself. Ariana is simply just setting a boundary and saying, I just don't want to associate with this person anymore. And if you do, fine. But like personally, I need to make some tough choices in my life for my own mental health. Yeah, the whole living situation, yes, it's kind of weird or bizarre. Fine. But nevertheless, she is not asking anyone not to hang out with them. She's just like, I don't want to fuck with that person. And that's just called being an adult. You know? And so I don't know what Ariana is doing other than just that, you know? So I don't,
setting boundaries.
Setting boundaries. Just being like, I just don't want to fuck with this person.
I also feel like she specifically didn't want to go on this trip because she doesn't want to concern herself with Sandoval at all. And yet Sheena's calling her every 5 seconds to give her updates on how the trip is going.
Yeah, I would literally be like, stop calling me.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
Tom,
I chose not to go.
Tom, Sandoval's like non-accountability has been well documented, especially
every episode,
especially even on this show.
Yeah, of course.
But his line that he's now using, you know, it's like Raquel and I don't know who, like if it's Raquel when we're talking about the affair.
Who she used to be.
Yeah, we didn't mean anything malicious by this, but you guys did. It's like, wait, not giving a fuck about someone else's feelings while you're fucking someone else.
Pretty malicious to me.
It doesn't make you the good guy.
Yeah, that doesn't make you.
He's like, oh, well, we weren't thinking of you. Yeah, clearly.
We didn't give a fuck about your feelings. So yeah, it's like, well. So
now you're the bad guys for your reactions to my actions.
You're being like, I have no empathy. I don't care about your feelings. But what you're doing seems personal.
Because it actually hurt me. Because that's all he cares about.
It's wild. Yeah.
He's like, how I feel about it.
I will say, it's almost convincing. You're like, wow, you know what? He didn't. You're right. They are trying to get back at you. It's just like, but wait, fuck. You didn't.
You did this.
You did this.
It's the it's also what you were saying earlier that confuses me, is that I was like, this is filming 3 months after Sandoval broke too. So it's weird that like all of these people got on their platform saying how awful he is, and now you guys are trying to gaslight Ariana into being the bad guy for saying, hey, I just don't want to be around him.
Yeah,
like this just happened. He cheated on her, 7-month affair with a close friend. I'm like, for me, even objectively, I'd be like, if you're capable of doing that to somebody that you care about, that you love, that you were with for 9 years, why would I be any different as a friend? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's no trust there whatsoever.
No. And he even said to Scheana, we're not friends. Like, he verbatim said that. And now she's like, he was one of my closest friends. I was like, he literally denied being friends with you 2 months ago. And now you're crying to his ex.
He blocked your daughter on Instagram.
For goodness sakes.
I can see Sheena's perspective in the sense of he gave me money during COVID when I was struggling, though. Like, that was pretty powerful for her to say.
It was powerful, but I was a little confused by that.
I'm also alarmed.
Yeah, same. How broke
These
was she?
people have been on TV for a decade. They were on TV when social media became a thing. When making money on social media became a thing. So they were
making more.
They were on TV in the most lucrative part of the internet. And the reason I say that is because now, maybe there are more deals to be had today because there are more brands comfortable with marketing on social media. But now the competition is fierce. Now you have an infinite number of reality TV stars and influencers and TikTokers. When social media, when swipe ups became a thing, there wasn't that much competition.
Right.
There were only so many, they weren't even real influencers like there are today. They were just reality TV stars. And so the opportunity for the Scheanas and Arianas and their entire cast of Vanderpump to make fucking bank was there.
Yep.
And I'm just, where did it all go? Did you not get...
What was she spending on? I'm just so confused because also didn't she say PayPal? That's how they sent it to her.
How is Tom Sandoval better with money than you are?
There was many questions there. I had a lot. I was like, huh?
Also, and I know the gender pay gap, we still have some work to do, but in the influencing world, it's a woman's world.
Yeah.
Women make 80% more than men.
Yeah.
So the fact that Tom Sandoval allegedly has more money than Scheana.
She didn't have an Ann in her life. That must have been what it was.
I don't know. It's it raises more questions than answers.
Well, and she specifically said, I didn't have income. I was broke and I didn't have income. So it could be more she felt like she was broke because she didn't have a stream of income.
But it was 2020. 4 cast members got fired. She didn't. So I'm where?
Yeah,
she
but
said
also social media didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I can assure you that while 2020 was not fun for many, many, many people in this world, technology went through the roof because everyone was home and at their phone and social media blew the fuck up. That's when TikTok really came out. And there was money being thrown around by tech companies and brands during that time. So I don't know what the fuck Sheena's talking about. Maybe she needs a new team. I don't know. Also, way to casually throw your husband under the bus.
Yeah.
He wasn't working either, apparently.
It's just God, ew.
Yikes.
Imagine publicly being yeah, sorry, I don't have an income. I know I'm married and have a husband, but he's worthless. And I need some money from Tom Sandoval. What a tough scene.
When did they move into their house?
Well, she has a house in Palm Springs, and I'm pretty sure they rent a house in I don't know. Maybe that's just made up. I don't know. Maybe that was for the show. It doesn't seem to track.
Well, she had a house in Marina Del Rey, right on the harbor. And I'm that's not cheap rent, first of all.
Well, because they used to have that place in Hollywood, Nick, when we filmed that Brooke Linen campaign. And she was we only use this when we're filming or else just sits empty. And I'm that's expensive rent to sit empty.
That's that's $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Yeah. Which, when you're a star on a popular reality TV show, they're making money. I mean, we knew that Raquel made $300,000, and she definitely is not the most paid person.
Right. Not even close.
So
But Raquel had a fake apartment for filming too. It's they all have multiple places.
Yeah.
Right. So I do think it has to come down to their team someone's not managing her, right? Helping
I'm
out.
on the impression that most of the Vanderpump has a lot of the same team.
Yeah. I mean, I know they do to a point, but I would assume they also have specific people for social media or specific personal assistants.
And I don't think Riley's the PR person for everyone.
I don't think so.
I know they all have the same managers and whatnot.
Lawyer.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Bravo's we're going to give you somebody.
We got you, yeah.
I don't know if it was that, though.
I think that's how it starts.
It's
and then maybe
court
it's
ordered.
Right. And then it's this person was really good for me. So when you have a cheating scandal, here's who to use.
I also really can't get on board with I will say, for all of Tom's criticism, like I can't say that I'm team Tom versus Lala, but I don't get where Lala's coming from. Also, was it recently? I saw a clip of Lala on her podcast. I don't know how recent it was, but she was talking about when her and James had sex while James was dating Rachel and she was in a relationship with Randall. And the way she talks about that is so casual and it embedded in the story of her and James having sex and cheating on Rachel and Randall was a lot of like justifications, right? A lot of like, well, Randall had a wife and it was like, and the way she described James and Rachel was, well, they were barely in a relationship, which, hey, listen, say what you want, but he has stayed true to that storyline. I mean, even offline on personal conversations with Tom has sworn to me to the point where I believe that he believes it, that Ariana didn't care about the cheating, that their relationship was really just transactional at that point. Now, again, I believe Ariana. I don't believe Tom, but I believe that Tom believes that justification.
Right.
And so to hear Lala go on her podcast and talk about her cheating as if it was like not a big deal or there was a reason for it, and then lay in to Tom and call him a groomer. I mean, again, it's 2024. Like
these words
are you're saying like Tom might have fucked up and he might not be the greatest guy or the greatest friend, but like don't be like throwing. Rachel was an adult woman.
Yeah, and we all saw it in the finale.
She made her
that
choices.
was her. Yeah, like there was no. She wasn't like underage. There was no grooming going on. Also, I think that's giving him way more credit. Also,
he's not that sophisticated.
It wasn't this. Yeah. He's not a mastermind.
And Lala specifically says, "You isolate, you groom, you're scary."
Yeah, see, you can't say those words.
Yeah.
That's a full-on personal like attack of character in a way that's not okay.
And then how is that different than what she and like again? It's just the more I watch like Lala and the Scheana talk about their stuff, the more it's just like Tom fucked up. But like how do they have a leg to stand on?
My other question is overall, how long is this going to be the entire storyline of Vanderpump?
I think this has got to be the last season. Do you think?
This has got to be it, right? Because last season was not great until the end. It was fine, but it wasn't as entertaining. The ratings weren't great until the end. And then obviously it blew up and became great and it was excellent TV. But now we're just living in the aftermath of this huge scandal.
But I'm still enjoying it though.
I still am too, but like for how long?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm still every week super excited to watch Vanderpump.
Okay.
That's a good point though. We're in like season 10 finale part 7.
Yeah,
right.
Like we're just rewatching an extension of it.
I was like, there's no new storyline.
Well, Ariana's clearly outgrown the show.
Yeah.
I mean, she should not, even if the show goes on, if there is a season 12, it makes zero sense for Ariana to be a part of it.
Right. She shouldn't be.
Right.
I know maybe for financial reasons she wants to, but she doesn't need to anymore.
Yeah.
Clearly, she's doing well.
Yeah, she'll have to give something up, but like if she maneuvers correctly, she should be just fine. And again, if Scheana really has money problems, I don't know what these people are doing with their money.
Right, where is it going?
It's wild to me. But nevertheless, she should be able to survive without it. And if she wants to, like, that's the thing. Fine. If you don't want to give the paycheck, well then Ariana, then you might have to renegotiate some of your boundaries.
Well, and that's the thing is about her boundaries is like saying she won't film with certain people that are still associating with them. It's kind of telling these people you're not going to be on the show because they're going to follow Ariana in my mind. So it's like ultimately would they not follow Katie anymore? Because
as people, I mean, obviously I'm number one Katie fan, team Katie all the way.
Same, I love Katie.
Same.
But from a television standpoint, Ariana is not it this season.
No.
And it's fine.
Right.
You know, I respect it. It's like, you need me. You can't fire me. I am the focal point. I want my one big payday. But I don't think as fans, given that the way Ariana has chosen to play this season, I'm not interested in her storyline.
But imagine if it was like, okay, then you can't talk about me or the affair. Then the show's over.
How could she enforce that?
She couldn't, but I'm saying while she is not the person that people really want to watch her personal storylines, she's still the focus of the show.
I would watch Tom Sandoval. He's got a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
I would watch that. I would watch him continue to be messy.
I'd probably only watch it for an episode. I think I'd get bored real quick with that.
We'll see. I mean,
I guess we'll see.
I'm curious about the Valley.
That's what I was gonna say.
Same. Because we had a break from all of them. So I feel like now that we kind of had a break. I mean,
it's not like and I find Jax Taylor to be a despicable human.
But great TV.
Yeah. And now we found out that the camera crews picked back up. They started filming again post Brittany and Jax Taylor. But they were hanging out this weekend with Mr. Tom Schwartz and a couple other
Kristen Doty.
Some convention?
At some convention.
Yeah, I saw that. And I also saw that Jax was promoting like a watching party or something with Brittany? And I was like, I'm confused.
We posted a clip from our conversation last week about Jax Taylor and Brittany, and we put that poll about whether the breakup was fake or real.
Real or fake.
And Kristen, who love Kristen, but and does reply to a lot of my stories, replied to this one. I'm assuming defending her friends, which I get. I get. And she was like, people are horrible. I don't know if she was referring to us who put up the poll.
Or maybe the results.
Or the results were that it was fake.
Yeah.
Which, defend your friends. But then I saw a clip of Kristen on her podcast acknowledging her screenshotting Tom Sandoval's diary.
Right.
And throwing Sandoval under the bus. So it's like, pop off on Sandoval, Kristen.
There's a lot of hypocritical things going on.
Criticizing Jax Taylor and questioning the authenticity of his breakup. I don't know if those are bad people just because you are still friends with Jax Taylor and Brittany. And maybe I just feel like Kristen, out of anyone, should not. We've certainly talked a lot about Sandoval and bled that storyline dry. But I feel like Kristen, given her past with Tom and not being able to let go, maybe should not be the one to
just take a beat,
to be screenshotting his journal entries.
Did you respond to her?
I said, yeah, it's Jax Taylor.
Yeah.
Give me a break. She did not reply back. So
I was going to say,
you
could have pulled aside and been like, name him.
Name him.
Oh, I know this is a preview from next week, but when Scheana was that line,
the backup dancer line. It's strange even like watching Lala and Scheana talk about it, but then also seeing Scheana talk about Ariana like that, and you're just like the side eye, the smirk, and it's just like, you guys are supposed to be friends, and yet you're like, she's really come a long way from my backup dancer. I mean, yeah, you guys were all dirt poor, really working at this restaurant. Who are you going to hire backup dancers? You do favors
also,
for your friends.
I'm willing to bet that Ariana did it as a favor.
Exactly.
And even if that. Let's assume that Ariana didn't do it as a favor, and let's assume in this bizarre reality of Scheana's that she was actually a pop star,
right?
That she actually had a couple smash hits, right?
Sorry,
like that. Let's assume
no money
in this
them.
alternate universe that exactly, that she had her moment,
right?
Why would you go on a show, an episode after you told everyone that you needed to borrow money from Tom Sandoval, just to remind people just how far you've fallen? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go on a show and be like, well, she's coming a long way from being my backup dancer. Listen, it's a tale as old as time that, someone, used to be the backup dancer for so-and-so, and now they're the it person.
Right.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
Life.
That you get surpassed by people.
Like,
I couldn't imagine some of my peers who also have podcasts being like, Nick's come a long way from being a guest on our podcast. I mean, like, yeah.
Great.
And now...
But also, like you said, like, they're supposed to be friends.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, I would never say something like that about one of my friends. Like, I don't understand.
Well, and there's an interview resurfacing right now, and I believe it's about Dancing with the Stars, but someone asked Ariana, who do you think would be good for the show? Ariana goes, Scheana.
Yeah.
So it's that on the other side, Sheena's going, well, you stole my moment.
You knew I always wanted that. And I was like, that is not how Dancing with the Stars works.
Yeah. And then Sheena's out there just like, and maybe that's where her money's going. She's taking classes for shows she's not even casted on. What other competition shows has she been training for that she didn't get to go on? Do you think she trained for Special Forces?
Totally trained for Special Forces.
She hired some like a SWAT team,
Truly.
Oh my gosh.
She got some funny. Like master quiz person. She's like training for Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Truly.
Like
she's working with Johnny Bananas trained for the challenge.
Yeah. Maybe that's where all our cash is going. She's like, it's just not paying off. Guys, I'm doing all the work.
Hiring $20,000 coaches.
Send me PayPal.
Yeah, I just
PayPal's open.
Why would you remind people that even if you were in truth like a former pop star, to have that line to be like, yeah, and now I'm borrowing money from my co-stars, and now I'm super jealous I'm not on Dancing with the Stars, which I loved my time on Dancing with the Stars. It was great. I would love to go on again, you know, but it's also like not the show that you like
aspire to go on.
Yeah, that you're like, oh my God, that's just it for me. That's my moment, you know?
That
like,
mirror ball.
Where it's like famously known as the show where like celebrities, like it's like their last hurrah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's not what it was for me or Zendaya.
No. And there's been some exceptions.
Yeah, there's been some exceptions. But
and
for
Bachelor
the
Nation is a complete exception.
Totally.
Because that's like part of
Totally. But it also is often known as the show where it's just
you can't
like
get another job.
Your final paycheck, you know? And
like, oh, they must need the money. But
well, clearly she does.
She does.
Yeah. What a tough episode for Scheana. Anyways. Housewives.
Beverly Hills Reunion.
This episode 2 is much better than episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Very giving.
We got to it.
We got into a lot. I think I do not understand why is everyone coming after Kyle the way they are? I get it. I understand from a standpoint of Kyle and Mauricio seem to be fine teasing their relationship breakup and not wanting the other housewives to talk about it. I get that a little bit, but some of the other things that they're giving Kyle shit for.
Who do you feel is attacking her the most? Or maybe not attacking, but spotlighting.
Sutton, it seems like.
Okay.
And that's
Dorit a bit too.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Sutton kind of has been the whole season where I'm like, I feel like she's just been ready to talk about Kyle and Mauricio from the jump. And she's like, why won't you talk about it? And like, as Kyle pointed out, she's like, your storyline is a dating coach and a horse in your stops. So it's like, I don't know. I always feel like when a big scandal drops, it kind of lets the other housewives be a little lazy because then they're like, well, we don't really have to focus on that because we can talk about Kyle and Mauricio.
And that's fine. Go after Kyle and get her to talk about it. But Sutton doesn't want to talk about anything.
No.
At all. If you want Kyle to talk about her breakup, you can't get so offended when Kyle wants to bring up your drinking.
Yeah.
You know, because Sutton's like, how dare you? How dare you question like how much drinking I'm doing? It's like, well, you want me to, how? I don't understand.
It's funny when it's like, it's only cute when I say it kind of thing, where she's like, oh yeah, I carry my ocean spray in my purse, and it's cute when she says it. But then if someone's like, maybe she puts a little vodka in her coffee, like it's like, these two things kind of go together.
Yeah, and I don't know, why is it always so taboo to bring up how much drinking some people do? Because we all have those friends, you know? Where it's like every party, they're passed out on the bus at the end of the party. It's like, oh, here they go again, you know? Like, and, you know, in Bachelor Nation, it's like the worst kept secret, some people's drinking problems, you know? And it's just like, we're not allowed to talk about it because somehow that's deeply offensive. But like, they're the ones showing up fucking hammered to every fucking event or slurring their words online. And it's just like, oh, how dare we address like the fact that they're always fucked up.
Right.
It's like, it's kind of wild to me, but I don't understand why.
But we're going to flip the script and now get mad at Kyle for trying to choose a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how dare she work out and you know, stop drinking and get a tattoo.
Yeah, they seem so offended that Kyle's like getting her shit together while facing what it must be a very difficult breakup.
Right.
And she's working out, she's making new friends. She's like doing the things that like on our Ask Nick episodes, we're always like investing yourself, you know, focus on yourself, be a better person. You can't control other people. So just do your best to be your best self. That is literally what Kyle seems to be doing. And all the other housewives are like, what the fuck? It's like, holy shit. How dare you get your shit together? They're so deeply offended by Kyle making healthy choices for herself. It is so fucking wild.
Really?
I love Sutton though. Like I'm team Sutton to the end.
I mean, as a person, we love Sutton, you know, but you know.
Well, I feel like to an extent, she's asking the questions that everybody wants to ask. And Sutton is that like fan favorite where she's carrying the baton. So for me, I'm like, ask all the questions.
Well, in my mind, I feel like Andy doesn't ask the questions that everybody wants to ask. So he's hoping that Sutton will chime in for that because he feels he can't because he's getting paid by Bravo. Like in my mind. I mean, so is she, but ultimately she can say whatever she wants.
Well, why can't he? I mean,
he doesn't a lot of the time.
He does sometimes, but like he won't push. Like even with Erica, he was
rarely
like,
pushes.
With Erica, he was like, do you have anything to say about the victims when
oh my
you
God,
sat down?
So weird. That
was
was
so
weird.
uncomfortable.
No.
She's like, no.
No.
You did a whole special talking to the victims,
what
but
do
you
you
can't tell
mean?
us
Yeah,
why.
well, he's like, why did you call? I can't.
Which
talk
maybe it's a
about why.
legal thing.
No,
Like, with
I
the
also
Lou-
he should have pushed more on it. I
think
thought.
I think she is selling it as a legal thing, but like
But it's
we
not.
we just watched it.
Yeah.
I
Right,
think
sure.
it didn't land, and she didn't know how to address it. So then she's painting it. I say this every week, but I don't want to criticize Erica, so I feel like I have some loyalty to her because I met her on Dancing with the Stars, and she was, I thought, just lovely.
Delight.
But she's so fucking cagey about this whole fucking case, and it just comes across as kind of scandalous and fucked up. And it's just like, it is really hard to get on board with it, Erica.
Yeah.
Like,
She's the opposite of Lindsay Hubbard. She's like, we don't talk about it, period.
Yeah.
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 She's not even like, I used the wrong words. She's just like, no.
No.
And that's all I'm going to say on that. We're just like,
Like
But
you're looking
what?
worse. You're looking
Yeah.
worse because you already said more.
Right.
She
So like,
looks so guilty.
yeah.
again, you did a whole special talking to these victims. You can't tell me
And
one reason.
why is she so offended by Garcelle questioning Tom's, like,
It was
Competency?
Crystal.
well, Crystal or Garcelle, that, you know, that side of the aisle, so to
Mhm.
speak? Because
dementia?
it's definitely Crystal, Garcelle, and Sutton
It's like
Versus
versus
Dory,
yeah,
Kyle, and
versus the
100%.
other
Dory.
side. Like, those three are a united front. Those three are
Yeah.
like truly friends in real life, and they fucking hate
Dorit.
Dorit. Fucking
Yeah.
hate her.
Well, Garcelle hates
Hates
Dorit.
her. But why it's like Tom Girardi, who is known to have lied to, according to Erica, lied to Erica.
Right.
right.
And then the whole world and all of his clients. And Erica seems offended that Tom might be lying about his diagnosis
Right.
of dementia, when you don't think that Tom, a lawyer who must know the legal system, like, you know, inside and out, thought to himself, he's going to lean into his age and feign a
Right.
false diagnosis so that maybe he won't be able to be held accountable. And then she's deeply offended by that. That doesn't track. Why are you in any way defending Tom, Erica?
I
Yeah.
almost feel like it's like, because if they figure out that he is mentally aware or stable or whatever, Erica might feel like that invalidates her case or everything she's been fighting for.
Sure.
And then on the flip side, Crystal, her father suffered with dementia.
Of course.
So, like, of course she's going to question it.
And she's making valid points. It's like, this is 4 years ago.
Yeah.
His diagnosis hasn't seemed to progressed.
Why is he allowed to?
Why is he allowed to do this if he really has said
Right.
diagnosis? Again, and we're talking about a lawyer who knows how to work the legal system.
Mm-hmm.
He
But,
was also like a top lawyer too. Like
Top
it's
lawyer.
not,
like a random.
Yeah, like we're talking like number like up there in his field. So it's
She-
like he knows the ins
For
and outs.
someone who claims to have done nothing wrong, she sure seems like she is trying to maneuver around a lot of potential landmines that she, like her hand was stuck in the cookie jar for
Yeah.
sure.
There's also the scene from last season. Remember when Erica was explaining the accident, and it's like it was like a viral moment, and she's like, Tom rolled his car and then hit
He
his
like
head.
fell off a cliff
Yeah.
and then did this and then did that.
That
And then they
whole-
were-
12-step accident.
yeah.
They were like, wait, what happened? Like,
So like it's like the adding up of it, because one second it was like, no, I don't talk to Tom at all. Then it's Tom calls every day. So I also feel like it's like she's just gotten to a point where it's like I can't say anything further because it's all recorded.
Yeah.
Like it's all on film. So it's just like she says Tom calls every day now, but doesn't realize that he's not practicing law, but is also like in and out of a courtroom every day. So it's just like, but he doesn't look any worse. I don't know. It's a mess.
Can we
is what
talk
it is.
about Sutton's $3.6 million annual after taxes? I love how she threw out
300K a
after
year.
taxes.
it was $300,000 per month after tax.
After
Yeah,
taxes.
300
So that's why that's
300K a month.
$3.6 million, right?
Who's her ex-husband?
Well, 300 times 12.
Oh, yeah, you're sorry.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Quick math.
That was a great
That's crazy.
Absurd. And
But now we understand why she has a hard time, you know, why he has so much control over her.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
we-
Because I'm sure he must, you know, like, granted, he must, every time he doesn't get his way, threaten to take her to court to reduce that.
well,
right?
I think there's also a clause, because it's obviously her settlement, that she can't get remarried, obviously, or else the payments stop. And so I think that's also part of why the dating coach was such a big thing. Like, as if it's like, I'm not intentionally not trying to find somebody, but I don't know why my cat sweaters and weird conversation is just not working out for me. Like, I
My
think it's her
ocean
like
spray in my
alibi.
purse.
Like, she's like, I'm trying to date. I'm trying to move on. I hate getting these payments.
Her ex asking her to move to London with him is insane.
Is it though?
I think so.
For $3.6 million a year.
Well, you could just wire that. That doesn't have to be like like right next to you.
No.
I don't know.
He's giving her
That's so much money.
he's giving her at least $500,000 a month.
It's just
That's
wild.
so much money.
But her life is in LA. So it's like
No, her life is her ex-husband.
Yeah, she wouldn't have a life if it was. I mean, she would, but it'd be very
it is so,
different.
he did make his money with her, so they made the money together.
That's true.
So I will say she was a part of that.
How did he make his money?
I think he's like an investor, stockbroker.
You mean like they were married when he got
like he didn't have money when they married, and they made the money together. So she was like supporting him throughout that.
Gotcha. Either way.
I'm a Sun stan, so I defend her.
Like, I'm going to bat for her.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe I'm like biased.
Oh, get your money. I mean, like I would.
Yeah.
Fuck, I would.
None of us are going to say no to it.
No one would say no to it. But
No.
it is a fascinating dilemma because.
It is the least she could do, I guess.
I know you
Right.
guys are younger and you're all going to be rich someday, but like whatever amount of money you have, when you start making more money, they really like you do spend more money, and you immediately just get used to like as your life elevates, you just find ways to spend more money. So Sutton has carved out a very specific life that it would be very hard to give up. Which again, this is where I empathize with Erica. Like to have your life ripped from you and have to go back to whatever life that you used to have is humbling and difficult for a lot of people. Some people make some very terrible choices when faced with that dilemma. When you lose the life that you had and you have to go back to a life that you had 15, 20 years ago,
Nope.
Some people literally can't do it.
Right.
And so I empathize with the dilemma that Sutton is in to an extent because, I mean, she can certainly buy whatever solution to her problems that she has.
Yes.
I want to know what the original like numbers are, because usually a settlement means that there was negotiations. Like, did we start off at 500 and then go, I guess I'll be okay with 300? Like, how did we get to the number 300? Just stab in the dark?
Well, she also said she had a team that, I forgot what it's called, but a team that like analyzes all of the assets and then figures out those numbers.
Oh, jeez Louise.
So I mean, it paid off in her favor.
Amen.
Yeah, good for her.
I'll say.
Yeah. I will say Anne Marie was interesting because she tackled
was?
onto that conversation. And, well, in the sense that she said, like, she made a comment where she's like, well, the world that I'm in, like, we don't talk about money,
Yes,
but the world that I'm in.
That is a
Yeah, that's a good
she
point.
did make a good point there. I mean, I don't think there's much of any upside to talking about your money.
No.
I don't know. I think transparency about money is good.
For who?
I don't know, just
in general.
like in the workplace.
Same.
Yeah.
I think
to
more.
what degree? I mean, I just think you put a target on your back. Here we are talking. Sutton's come out. She's like, I make this. Yeah, we're having fun with it, but like, we're indirectly judging Sutton, and now we have these expectations of what we think her life should or shouldn't be, and we have a less empathy for her now than we did before. When you brag about your money, it just puts a spotlight on you that, it's just like your ego loves it, but then I just don't, what's the upside other than putting a target on your back?
I feel like bragging about it is definitely different, and that's what she was
saying.
Bragging. Yes, absolutely, she was. But I think transparency in general, I know, like for me, before 5 years ago in the workplace, like as a journalist, none of us would talk about what we were getting paid because it's a competition. Now, like the new journalists that come up, I'm like, if you want to talk to me about it, I'll be honest with you. Here's what I think you deserve. Here's what I'm making. I'm been in this 5 years longer. I'm open to it.
I think that's great.
Okay, so that's the transparency that I'm talking about. I think especially for women. If I'm going to go online and brag about
when you're making some coin and you have some disposable income and you're bragging about your disposable income,
that's different.
I think it's a risk.
No, for her, it does give us context though, which is nice.
Right.
I want to know.
Yeah.
As a viewer, I love it.
As a viewer, I want to know how much each one of them has in their bank account.
Yeah,
I want to know
how. I want to know that. I want to know how Scheana lost all her money. Like the same thing. Like I feel like all of that, the same kind of conversation.
Well, and I took Anne Marie's comment as like, I'm in a different world as the rest of the woman.
Right.
Which was interesting.
Which is what, poor?
Yeah.
Or like
in comparison,
I think she's trying to say like she is a rich, wealthy, as she said, person outside of the show is what she's trying to imply. But I was
she
kind of
said she has a lot of wealthy friends.
Which that's how I took it, and I was like, honey,
But she's being more modest.
This is the wrong
But she was like,
audience.
we, from the world I come from, we don't talk about things
and I was like, you're
that.
sitting in a room full of wealthy women. I don't know.
Genuinely.
If that's the right comment, but
Kathy Hilton's about to walk out. Relax.
yeah.
Boy, what an iconic moment where Kathy's getting her face painted. And that's where she decides to talk the most shit about her sister.
She goes, I probably shouldn't say this, but
I did.
And I said while watching it to Natalie, I'm like, why would they air this way? And Natalie reminded me, well, that's when she said it. So I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. So like,
Kathy's like queen of a hot mic moment or like an off-camera moment. So it's like that it doesn't surprise me at all that she's like.
This time they had the cameras.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is a preview of her being on next season?
I do.
I think they're teasing Kathy and what's the other sister's name? Kim. Kathy, Kim returning.
That would be awesome.
And they've said
Kim
Teddy.
returns, that'd be amazing.
They've said Teddy's name like 5 times already, so I feel like she might be returning
That'd
for
be
whatever
also
reason.
awesome.
Denise
Teddy-
has been mentioned, so I think she's returning.
Oh, bring it back.
I think there's a lot of friends
Yeah,
out
the
there.
OGs would be really
Who are we
great.
getting rid of?
Hopefully Anna Marie, but it doesn't seem like it.
I mean,
Why do you keep saying that?
I think just because she's like doing her press tour with the rest of the women.
That she's even in the reunion the whole time. Like as I said, there's the friends of will come out for a segment during the second reunion and walk back off. She has been out there. She got her diamond from first appearance. It's really hard for me to believe that they're going to kick her off. They're really trying. And then they did the whole like background story as to why she behaved the way that she did. So it's giving us empathy for her and her current situation. And hopefully we'll see her shine her next season.
If she couldn't shine this season, how is she going to shine on a season with Kathy, Kim, Kyle, Denise,
No way.
Teddy.
Teddy? Oh my God.
it is tough competition.
Like, oh, guys, Anne Marie over here.
Who's on right now? The Crystal, Sutton.
I think Andy yawning at Dorit is a sign that she might be
off.
next.
And 3 years in a row?
3 years in a row.
It's embarrassing for her.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
He was even irritated. He was like,
that was funny. I thought that was a funny moment. I thought she was joking in a way.
No, she's serious.
No, she's
No?
dead serious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know.
He was like not even, he was like, in one of the flashbacks, he like barely, he like,
yeah, he tried to
swallowed his
swallow
yawn.
it. Mhm.
he can't help it because he's just naturally bored.
She is long-winded.
She didn't come with her bullet points.
Any other housewives before we move on to Love is Blind?
As Denise would say, watch the show.
That was a nice
Nice.
line. Yeah.
Nutrafol. I obviously am postpartum. Hello. And what comes with postpartum is postpartum hair issues. So I actually have been taking the postpartum Nutrafol, and it is 4 capsules a day. You take it with a meal, and it takes 3 to 6 months to actually see results. But after 1 month, I do feel like my hair is thicker. I have less shedding. I just feel more confident about myself. So I know that by 3 months, which I'll be prepared for our wedding.
I mean, you've been using Nutrafol for quite some
I
time.
used it before I got pregnant, and my hair was in the best state ever. And then obviously stopped while I was pregnant and looked forward to the postpartum one so I could keep my hair journey up. You know what I'm saying?
Did you know that hair thinning will happen approximately in 1 to 2 women?
If you're among them, know you're not alone. Thinning is normal, but it's not openly talked about, and going through it can feel lonely and frustrating. Join the over 1 million people that are doing something about it with Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding.
I can say before I got pregnant, when I was taking it, I had taken it like 6 months consistently. 8 months consistently. And I was in the shower and like when you condition, Allie, you can speak to this, and you just start pulling and pulling and pulling. Mine was like down to a minimum. You know, I used to put it up on the wall.
Yeah,
and now there's like not much.
She was making less art on the shower wall. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code Viall Files. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and hairstylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Viall Files. That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code The Viall Files. OneSkin. I mean, look at my skin.
Glowing.
All thanks to the good people at OneSkin, because they didn't just figure out how to keep your skin healthy. They figured out how to reverse aging. That sounds like a sci-fi movie. Well, it's not. It is something you can have in your bathroom today.
And that is because OneSkin's products are powered by their scientifically proven peptide called OS1. And this peptide reduces the accumulation of damaged, aging cells, the cells that make your skin less resilient and more prone to lines and wrinkles. Instead of masking these issues, OneSkin addresses them at the cellular level, boosting your skin's natural barrier to lock in moisture and help protect against the elements. They have a full line of face and body products, including the OS1 Shield and SPF that prevents UV-induced aging and repairs cellular aging all at once.
In a third-party 12-week clinical study performed by third-party research organization OS1 Face was clinically proven to strengthen the skin barrier, improve skin health markers, and diminish visible signs of aging. Wrinkles were diminished in 87% of users. That's incredible.
I love OneSkin. I love putting the sunscreen one on my hands while you drive because they say that your hands and your neck are the first things to age you. And your hands on the steering wheel, they get all that sun, you know what I'm saying? The sunburn, sun damage. So I like to put the sunscreen on my hands. It's a little tip trick. You're welcome.
Well, the more you know. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company by focusing on the cellular aspect of aging. OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code VIALL at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code VIALL. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Help your skin stay younger and healthier for longer with OneSkin. Okay. Well, we called it. AD.
Devastating.
Left at the altar. Poor Edie.
You guys, my jaw dropped. Like, I was just like, it's wild that that world, we're watching Jimmy and Chelsea, where Jimmy has the respect for Chelsea to be like, hey, I can't see us getting married. And Jimmy just seems so like, oh, what do you want from me? What can I do? And then you let AD get all the way up there in a dress, walk down there. Your families are sitting there.
Bro was milking it to the end.
So rude.
Yeah.
It was so rude.
Even like his vocal pauses, like his almost, like his, when
he was producing himself.
Yes.
100%. I was like, is this man a producer? Who's telling him to pause like this? This was insane.
Yeah. And then, when she's talking, he affirmed every word she said. And you look so good, babe. You're just so good. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I mean, the salesmanship.
Yeah. It was gross.
Was
I would say his parents ended up coming out almost as like the MVPs.
Truly.
I thought that it was very impressive that his mom was. You don't usually see parents have an honest conversation like that on camera. And I give them a lot of credit for allowing that to be on camera.
Well, I don't know if Dad had much of a choice.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know if Dad.
So I give her a lot of credit for bringing it up on camera.
I really honestly would love to check in with Clay and the fam.
Yeah.
Because I'd be willing to bet that in that moment that we got to see, like, I don't think his dad had any clue what had been discussed all season long.
Yeah,
you're
probably right.
Do you think Clay was like, hey, by the way, man, I've been talking a lot about you, Pops.
It's not great.
And it's not great. I basically taken all of my bad behavior and completely blamed you for it, which might be a valid excuse, you know.
Sure, I'd say it's a valid excuse to the start. You can't.
Except that when you are self-aware enough to know,
sure.
It's like,
but then don't go to the altar.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like, as an adult, just in general, like when you start saying, well, this happened to me, this was my trauma, I had to experience X, Y, or Z, great to recognize. And it does take some time to recognize and reflect on what you've had to experience. But I kind of feel like in that moment, and again, I say this is one guy's opinion, not a therapy or any type of professional mental health expert of any kind. But I feel like on a personal level, you cease to be able to use that then as an excuse for your own behavior, because now you're at least acknowledging is that A, the behavior you have is bad, and B, that you know where it came from. So, well, maybe you still have work to do. The work needs to be done. And until said work is done, then you shouldn't be doing the things that cause you to be a liability.
Right.
Like maybe be on a reality TV show where a wedding is weeks away.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, great. It's your dad this and your dad that. But again, you're self-aware enough, Clay, to know. And now it just sounds like an excuse.
I'm afraid that it's going to affect AD poorly in the long run because she was like so red flags with him in the beginning because he had said like, I'm not going to do this unless you tell me what you look like or whatever the creepy thing he said in the pods that she ended up working past and getting past with him. But like every red flag she had ended up being like kind of true.
Oh, yeah.
When she had a powerful line where she said, I feel like a sacrifice. You learn so much about yourself, like you use me to do it.
Mm.
And she's like, so I was just a pawn or a stepping stone.
Do you think he learned so much about himself?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
I thought maybe until
Well, he kept saying.
he didn't.
Yeah.
In defense to Clay, I think he really like thought they were going to date afterwards.
That's insanity to me.
Why? I mean,
if you
because the
bring her
show-
to the altar, if he had said it a couple days before or 2 days before and was like, listen, I want to date you. I'm in love with you, whatever it is I've been saying to you, but I just can't, I'm not ready to get married. Maybe.
He kind of did, though. They had a conversation where he said that he wasn't ready, that he
Right.
was worried about, the cheating. And AD said, okay, I get that, but I'm here to get married and I am not interested in dating after this.
But don't go to the altar.
Right. Then
Your
don't
point.
go to the
Right.
altar.
Yeah.
Right. And this isn't the way that you're going to
Yeah.
have another conversation.
Also, I got
Don't-
so annoyed with him kept being like, I'm worried about the cheating. Like, as if he would be just forced to cheat.
It's something
It's
that
genetic.
happens to him.
Yeah, like it's a genetic disorder. Like, I
Yeah.
get that, like, okay, you're tempted easier than other people. Sure, that's a thing. But like, you also are an adult who has self-control.
Yeah,
Don't
like-
cheat if you don't want to cheat.
We
Yeah.
all, there's like, it's like, when we talk about our parents' bad behavior,
Yeah.
it goes one of two ways, right? It's like sometimes if people's parents have a drinking problem, some of them sadly end up having a drinking problem of themselves. Or sometimes it's like, I never fucking touch that shit.
Right.
Mhm.
Or I don't smoke because my parents both had lung cancer.
Right.
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 Or whatever. Sometimes you learn from your
Yeah.
parents' bad behavior
You
because
counter correct.
there is an
Mhm.
example of what you
Yeah.
don't want to be.
So maybe you don't put yourself in those situations that you would be tempted.
And Clay is talking
There's an
about
idea.
Boom.
Clay is showing the type of self-awareness that would suggest I don't want to be like my father.
Right.
Right.
And yet using his father's behavior as an excuse not to actually get married to AD.
It's wild.
Well, and the internet is now speculating that he knew, like him and his family knew that he wasn't going to say yes or I do, because if you look at their outfits, they're not put together as much. Like his sister's wearing a dress the color of your pants, but like a neon pink hair clip.
Yeah.
Clay's brother showed up in a tank top.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Full tank top.
like
So people are thinking that he gave them a warning, like, look, we're not
Right.
going to actually get married.
yeah, because like imagine like
Do you think producers knew?
Of course.
Why would he? I wonder what they offered him. They were like, if you go to the altar,
Yeah. To me, it's just like there's no way he comes out looking good in that.
what's the
No.
benefit for him to go all the way to the altar if he knew he was going to say
Right.
no?
My guess is when the conversation went something like, and the truth is about reality TV, you never really know. Here's where producers of any show kind of get away with it. And what sucks is that they're right when they say it, but to the detriment to the person they're saying it to. Perfect example, we already referenced Ari, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know this to be a fact, but from my own experience, I'm assuming when Ari went to the producers and said, "Hey, I've changed my mind. I want to be with Lauren. I don't want to be with Becca." That Ari did not have to put that on camera.
Mhm.
He didn't have to do that,
Right.
And I'm certain, I'm without knowing for certain. And the same thing that happened on Caitlyn's season of The Bachelorette. And this actually it didn't really affect her negatively, and it affected me positively. Is that like you have to give that person their moment, so to speak. I felt like a fool when I went all as far as I did on Caitlyn's season, but her bringing me as far as she did gave me arguably my best moment on that show.
Mhm.
And AD, who was the star of this episode, AD. Why? Because Clay did what he did to her. Becca Kufrin ended up being the Bachelorette. Why? Because Ari was willing to give Becca her moment and fall on the sword. I think Ari doesn't get enough credit for what he did, because I honestly think Ari knew that he was going to get some punches, and it was almost like a gift to Becca. And people can say what they want. It's like, oh, we don't need to thank Ari, but like, he didn't need to do that. And had Ari just broke up with Becca, not on camera, and just been like, hey, I just realized that, Becca and I, we just weren't compatible, and I couldn't stop thinking about Lauren. So like, and all we saw was AFR of Ari telling us this story and then Becca coming out and telling us the story, like he would have got a little bit of heat, but like nothing to the degree that he got by agreeing to film it.
Yeah.
But him agreeing to film it made Becca Kufrin the star that she is.
Mm-hmm.
And
so do you think he took? Sorry, we're going off a little bit. Do you think he was like had to be convinced?
I don't know. I don't know if there's, but I do think that it's possible that almost Clay did that for AD.
Was told like this is going to make AD look really good.
If that did happen, it wouldn't have been a lie. It's a fact.
Of course.
The best moment anyone ever has on reality TV is when they're broken up with.
Mm-hmm.
At least on like love shows, like The Bachelor or Love is Blind, which most people go on those shows. You have to remind them because they feel embarrassed. They don't want that to happen. But your most vulnerable moment is your best moment. And most of these people aren't actors and aren't capable of being that being fake and vulnerable. And so you have to have some scene like this where anyone in your shoes would be devastated. And then anytime you show poise like AD did, and just empowerment like AD did, you're a fucking rock star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like Clay did put it, he gave her a fucking softball down the middle. And AD hit it out of the park, but without Clay doing what he did, AD never has that moment. And I'm not saying we need to praise Clay for it, but it is just a little BTS of reality TV that I think sometimes likes criticize Clay. And I don't think the internet is losing their mind on Clay like they did like Ari.
No.
But sometimes a little just perspective is in order.
I mean, because we talked about this before, but like the Deep D moment, that was like her moment.
That was her moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. After she got screwed over.
No, and I do think Shane, what's his name? Shake or whatever. He was just a creepy, weird little guy.
Weirdo, yeah.
I don't think he deserves any credit, but he gave her that moment, and like she doesn't get that moment without, like I always say, you don't have a good hero without a good villain.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And totally. I will always say Luke Parker from Hannah Brown season will never get the credit he deserves because that man was an amazing villain.
A great villain.
And it made Hannah Brown, Tyler Cameron, Pete Weber, and everyone else in that show just pop.
Yeah.
Because he was so fucking easy to hate.
For sure.
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
Excellent TV.
Excellent. Jimmy, Chelsea, break up, finally.
He actually thought they were going to date, it seemed like.
He
was like, I love you to death. I know, right? Now they've been together. They've been spotted together again, but I don't think so.
I think that's all for clout.
Same.
Yeah.
But for him to be like, oh, I love you to death. I want to date you. I just don't want to marry. And I'm like, I think there's no way he actually wanted to date her.
I think he just didn't want to be an asshole.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's kind of giving me Stockholm syndrome. I'm like, I think they're dating, and I think he was like, maybe not. And now that it's like, oh, I could lose you, like, let's give this a shot for real.
I don't know. I think it's too much of a coincidence you're seeing stuff now. Think about it. They've filmed this over a year ago, and these people have all been living in the same city for the past year. And now all of a sudden they're being caught in the wild together, but weren't caught in the wild together prior to this.
We didn't know
we
who they
weren't
were.
looking for it.
I was gonna say we didn't know who they were. Or
Maybe,
what
that
to
might be
look for.
true.
They could have been dating this entire time.
But I think what's more likely is that these are two people who did have this craziest experience together, and despite them not getting married, like there probably are still actual friends. And there are a few people in this world who can relate to this crazy experience that they all experience. So like they just are actual friends because it's like, all right, clearly we're not married. We're not going to, a couple months went by. The tension wore off, the feelings, and they were just like, yeah, well, this is actually, It's cool to be friends with you. It's cool to be able to talk about this experience with you. And I don't know, I'm almost certain that's what it is. And that's nothing more.
Are you saying that Chelsea has now become the friend that needs to be introduced to the next girl that he slept with in the past?
No, you're right. Chelsea is now, Chelsea's probably part of the
She probably
flopple.
is part of that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so
She's
funny.
probably besties with them. Well, I am excited. Again, we do have AD on this episode of Going Deeper, so we do get to ask her about what she thought leading up to it, her feelings about Clay's family's attire. We even get into if there was anything after, post, what, like, because it's always interesting because like there is obviously a connection between these two, and even though like Clay doesn't want to get married, it is definitely a possibility for these two people to be like, sure, this is crazy, but let's try. So we get into all of it with AD. So certainly on an episode. you will not want to miss. And then Jeremy, boy, the bad press keeps coming out about him.
Oof.
What is that? The most recent bad press?
Tasteofreality.com.
That he pulled a gun on his ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend made a 3 or 4 part series on TikTok.
Oh,
and continuing. She's on 4 parts. She's Risa saying it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And
Oh my gosh, is it going to be a 50-parter?
It's not the thing too, because it's like obviously with all the stuff that's come out with people on TikTok and you're trying to take everything objectively, the way that she's talking about their past, he displays the same behavior like on with him and Laura's fight, how it was like I don't talk to her, like storming around the house but not wanting to communicate. And so it's like her whole story is that they were getting into a fight and he was like following her around the house and at one point allegedly pulls a gun on her.
That's
and
fucked up.
yeah,
Her
so
name is Katrina. Yeah, and she says that she was at a work event or something and he like even popped in on it, and then they went home and he was acting upset, and then he left the room at one point and then came back in, and allegedly he had a gun pointed at her and she thought that he was going to shoot her right then and there, but then he pulled, and this is all alleged, he pulled the gun down and she ran out, called the cops.
And
Is
in
there
the
a police
bushes.
report?
There
So,
has to be,
it's
right?
actually called
Apparently the
police.
cops came, they searched his
So there has to
home
be, yeah.
and asked him if he had any tactical or military training experience and if he's a drug dealer.
because the guns were like strategically placed around the
Mhm.
house.
Yeah.
Oh, that's alarming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we thought that the
So there had
Hawaiian
to have been a
shirts-
police report. Yeah, she was afraid of the Hawaiian
the
shirts.
Hawaiian
my
shirts
gosh.
on a jet ski was an issue. Think again.
You said something earlier this season where you're like, you think Jeremy is like not dangerous, but you use a specific word.
Well, Laura said that his house looked like it was that of a serial killer.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura
Like
said
if there's
that.
anyone who could potentially,
Yeah,
It'd be Jeremy.
he's very.
there were some red flags there, but I think Laura handled it like a champ.
Mm-hmm.
At least she's out of it, you know?
Yep.
He gave Laura that moment.
Yeah.
So
I'm out.
But then it looks like
She's
for
like,
the
kick rocks with
it
open
looks like for the
touches.
reunion she's zooming in though.
She's zooming in. Yeah,
Yeah.
she had a work thing in Spain.
I do feel like it sounds like we do get a lot of even some of these B characters on the show. Some
Yeah, we get the guy with the mullet,
Trevor.
yeah,
Trevor.
so like some of these B like
the ones who didn't find love.
yeah, but have been immersed in scandal. It sounds like we get some answers.
Mhm.
Yeah,
at
because
the
there was a lot of relationships pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like I usually interview the showrunner and creator before the season, and this season I waited and I figured I'd wait till after I see the reunion because I think I'm gonna have a lot of questions. So I assume I will be asking a lot about. I ask every time, but about kind of just what they look into, because it's strange to me that people can still do this where they go on and have relationships at home.
Well, thinking about background checks, I'm usually like I usually defend the show.
Mhm.
This Jeremy alleged story, like if there's a police report, that's when they are doing background checks, like that's what they're doing. They're doing, is there a police report? You know,
psych checks.
they do psych
course.
checks. I mean, like a credit score might tell something. I don't know if they actually do a credit score, but those are like things they could easily do, right?
Right.
It's like it seems like a lot of fans when they hear background checks are expecting these shows to do like these incredible internet deep dives on not only the people they cast but all the people they don't cast. So it's not like they're
Right.
doing background checks on the 30 people they have on the show. It would have to be on the hundreds of people that they're considering.
Right.
And like also you don't know what you don't know. How can they find a photo on the internet that maybe someone else took that you didn't tag? You know, maybe in a few years when AI takes off, it might be easier. But nowadays, that's not that,
No.
it's not that easy to do. And they can't account for every person they ever dated ever.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not.
How can you do a background, and that's where all this tea is coming from.
Right.
That being said, if there was an actual police report, then it
Right. I
doesn't
thought
make
about that
it, how
too.
does he end up on the show?
Right. I thought about that too because I was like, I obviously want, like, this woman seems believable, but I'm hesitant to believe it because, like, wouldn't casting have seen a police?
They would have.
report?
Yes.
Yes, a police report would be something they would flag immediately.
I'm always skeptical of the exes of reality TV stars who come on. It's usually a lot of clout chasing. I think we talked about this. Love is Blind Minneapolis. The cast list has been leaked,
Yes.
and like everyone in Minneapolis is like losing their fucking mind because
Mhm.
Midwest city. It's like, holy shit, they're coming to our town, and like the cast list got released, and then there's exes of these potential cast members coming out making these accusations about some of these guys, and in the comments There is one comment, one of the girls who's talking about one of the guys. I don't even know who the person they're talking about. I've been made aware of the comments. In the comments, and I believe you can still find it. It's out there. Is that her saying, I hope the Bachelor producers see this so they cast me on the show. Like her calling out her own clout chasing. You know, it's just like
she probably should have waited for that season to air.
You cease to become believable,
right?
Yeah,
and that's what sucks is because then if this woman is telling the truth, which who knows, it's like people are going to discredit her because they're like, oh, she's clout chasing. It's like because there are so many people who are doing it strictly just to have their 15 minutes, it discredits the ones who are victims of these people.
But the big question is there a police report? Because something like this, if they called the cops, there would have to be. And if there is a police report, how do they end up on the show? Because when they do background checks, I can assure you they run a
that would show up.
And those don't go away.
I will do a deep dive after this.
Please. I mean, she sat there and was like, I'm not a content creator. I didn't come on here to, but I feel like I need to share my story, trigger warning, XYZ. And then
but
as I said,
she's 17-part series.
I was going to say, but she's also on a 4-part series. So
click and follow. And also here's a link to my merch.
Stringing Fit Tea.
CAA, are you listening?
Yeah, exactly. CAA signed. What's Risa?
Risa.
So
like I'm not here to be a star, but like if I happen to be one,
here's my story.
Here's my story. But yeah, well,
yeah, Jeremy.
Okay,
Jeremy.
Bachelor.
Is it time?
Woohoo!
I loved this episode of The Bachelor.
Tell me more.
It was fantasy suites. And I don't know, I just think we got to see other sides of Joey. And I know this is going to be like a weird take, but I liked seeing like The Bachelor have to do a real life scenario where it's like you're at the hospital taking care, like showing like what it would be like to be in an actual relationship and not this like super produced date. But yeah, no, I thought Joey was really sweet.
I think they leaned in though.
I think they leaned in too.
I remember her jaw being broken.
No.
To her being
like she couldn't speak. The end of the night, she couldn't speak at first, and then she left the hospital and she was completely fine.
Completely fine.
Wait, what?
I mean, she's relatable when he was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like,
I'm fine. I'm fine. I know. I felt that too. I was like, oh, this
Me.
is every girl. This is every girl. I mean, so me.
Oh, I don't doubt that. Like she really, like I think she was really hurt when it happened. And probably wasn't a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But a pain that subsided without any significant injury.
Probably didn't need to go to the hospital.
Like 5 minutes later, she's like, you know what? Honestly, I'm okay.
I think she could have maybe used an ice pack and an Advil.
Right. Yeah. Why is it that getting hurt is so embarrassing?
Right. Why are we ashamed of this?
I don't know.
Like I fall and I'm like, I'm so embarrassed.
You're apologizing. You almost apologized. So that's how I feel
sorry.
too.
Like
to the sidewalk. I'm so sorry. No, I also think that there's like a little of anxiety too, where I'm just like, if I were her, I'd be like, no, I don't need to go to the hospital. This date is not over. I am having my full, like, I feel like there's a bit of a fear that like if something goes wrong or she's diagnosed, needs medical attention, then it's like
the rose.
Yeah. She's such a people pleaser, which is like to me so relatable, but also like it makes me happy that he kept pushing. Like, no, it's fine if you're not okay. Like, it's not a big deal. We're good.
Well, and Joey gave us just a little. I mean, we know so little, almost nothing about Joey's past or dating history or how he feels about relationships or what it means to be a partner. And we don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a little bit of a taste about an alleged past relationship. Like, we don't even know if it was a girlfriend, a situationship, like a summer fling. But
he holds it really close to the chest.
At some point, he interacted with a person who I guess didn't make him feel always the best.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know more. But we did get just a little bit of context.
Yeah, tiny bit.
I've been on the Kelsey train all season. I called it from the start. Last week, I was a little on the fence. I was starting to doubt myself.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it is so obvious this episode that Kelsey's his girl.
Truly.
The makeout on the counter the morning of is what sold me more than anything.
Oh, but even before that dead giveaway was, first of all, it started... they had a little like moment with, the three women left, a bit of a montage of like Joey's thoughts about them and vice versa. And Joey goes about Rachel. It's like, I'm just like, she brings out a different side of me. I don't know what that is, but but it's different. Like he's just making up shit. And I get it because he probably has literally no connection with her whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Rachel's a lovely, wonderful person. It's just not there. But he can barely even make up a line. And then when he's talking about Kelsey, he is talking about how Kelsey makes him feel.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's meaningful. And when he is sitting down with her, he cares deeply about what she says.
Yeah.
He is locked in. He is invested. And if that wasn't the giveaway or the makeout of the next day, what's the saying? Does protest too much?
Protest
Does
too much.
protest too much? The show itself trying to misdirect the fuck out of us.
Totally.
I mean, so you have the three golden ladies come on. You have Susan, Leslie,
Sandra.
and Sandra. Leslie being the runner-up from last season, the broken-hearted person who comes in to basically just fuck with Kelsey's brain.
Just like be like, you might think it's you, it's not you.
It's not you. And I don't even think she was. I think she was just
straight up.
Yeah, that was just good producing by the Bachelors. Be like, yeah, just go.
Just tell her what you think. Yeah,
just tell what you think. Just tell her how you feel. I mean, fucked up. Who knows? Who knows what's
Leslie's
gonna
like
happen?
still heartbroken. Yeah.
I mean, and Leslie's not in the know. She has no idea what's happening. She is just there to talk to Kelsey. She probably knows absolutely nothing about what's going on, and so she is just being her authentic self. But because she's a couple months removed from being devastated by Gary, as a two-time runner-up, if I were the person going in that moment where someone's like, yeah, I know we have a great connection, I would have been like, just pump the brakes because
good luck.
You know, you can think it's you and I can promise you can be wrong.
You guys sound like in Bridesmaids when Kristen Wiig's like, oh, you guys are in love? That will fade.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Truly.
So true.
But I just don't think it's a coincidence that Leslie is that person. And who knows? Like, maybe Joey hasn't decided yet. But like, you know, I'm pretty sure Joey knows who he's picking at this point.
Right. I really hated the note situation. I understand it's a redirect and it's production and all that. I just felt like it was so unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fantasy suite dates are always exciting enough as it is, dramatic enough as it is. I don't need this like we need to talk. No one actually writes a note that just says we need to talk.
Who
Nothing
does
else.
that? And I really feel for Kelsey because there's no way that was like her call.
Of course not.
And that seems like I'm really, we're recording this before the episode drops, but it wouldn't shock me if Kelsey catches some heat online about like, why the fuck would you write a message like that and fuck with Joey?
Yeah.
Clearly,
also, he's crying he's already crying after just the note because he's so nervous about what it is.
Sure, because like he feels like, oh, Kelsey's gonna break up with me.
I mean, we're
this
all
is the
that
only
person.
I
if you get a text that says we need to talk, I am like immediately have a panic attack.
No.
Hey, don't get mad.
Right.
Can I tell you something? All those like things that people say to you where you're like,
I have to tell you something
immediate
later.
panic attack.
Yeah, I have to tell you something.
We have to talk afterwards.
No,
we need to talk right now.
It's more alarming than just saying what it is.
Yeah. I get those from my mom all the time where she'll just text me in the middle of the day. She'll be like, don't worry, but can you call me later?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Jesus Christ.
Call her now.
Like, I'm canceling all my meetings. We're talking right now.
She's like, oh, I just want to talk to you about this. Like, you have some mail at my house. I'm like, are you kidding me? I thought someone died.
Context.
Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I really feel for Kelsey because I would suspect the internet is going to give her a little heat in moments. They're going to probably like criticize her for like whining when she should be the one who's getting all the attention and all these like packages where it's Kelsey being like, I'm really struggling here. Like they have footage on all these women saying the exact same thing because like it's super weird to go to a fantasy suite and like even though you know how the show works, like going in that this is gonna happen, and then you do it and then you're just like that you're sitting and been like the person I was with, and no matter what happens, whether they are intimate or not, that person who you want to get engaged to, who you love, is in bed with someone else.
Yeah.
That they're spending a night with someone else. Even if you're confident in your relationship, you've all heard too many stories of past leads like getting it on with multiple people.
I will say, as someone who's in like a new relationship for the first time in 10 years, going in watching, this was the first time watching the fantasy suites that I was like, oh my gosh, this is torture. Like, I feel so bad. I've watched every season and I'm always like, yeah, this sucks. Like, this is really hard. They know what they're signing up for, that kind of thought. I was literally like, my stomach hurts for them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Do you remember, have you seen,
that
this is a callback, but the movie Indecent Proposal with Demi Moore and Robert Redford and Woody Harrelson.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it in so long. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie.
And Robert Redford plays this rich billionaire, and Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson's characters, they're poor. They go to Vegas. They're spending their last money trying to make it big. And Robert Redford sees Demi Moore and offers them $1 million to have one night with his wife. And that happens, and like he's just like beside himself because he knows what's happening. And that's what it's fucking like. It's fucking crazy. I remember vividly those nights.
Yeah.
And not be like it is fucking, it's psychological torture.
Yeah, I literally like I was like gonna throw up. I was like, I can't watch this. Like I immediately am like putting myself in that position. Like, no, this is the worst thing. I couldn't do that.
And I also couldn't imagine like watching it as like the person being chosen, and then it's like, well, that kiss looked really real. Like, you know what I mean? When him and Daisy are making out, like if I were Kelsey or if I were Rachel, and I'm like, oh, so that's what your one-on-one was like. You know what I mean? Because I feel like in your head, you'd be telling yourself like, he's not that into them. Like it's me or something like that.
They don't have good chemistry.
Yeah. And then hearing him say, I'm falling in love with you to like two girls.
And he was saying the same exact thing. It made me, I was like, and I understand, I get it to a point, but the way he was saying like I can't. I have to wait to say it till the right time.
I've been feeling.
I was like, oh, you're repeating this. You already said this once. Like, oh,
it's so tough being his shoes.
I can't imagine.
It's so
I can't
tough.
imagine.
I mean, I've gone back and forth. Last week, I was leaning towards Daisy. This episode, I'm convinced it's Kelsey, but I don't know. Maybe who knows? I think they leaned in the misdirect almost too hard.
Right.
I agree with you. I was like, Kelsey and him have like read very healthy and compatible. So I said, I was like, the only reason why I'm agreeing with you now is because I picked up my phone to like look at it. And that's when I'm like, you guys must be the choice.
Right.
Him and Daisy, I felt like were very like passionate, which I was like, it's also, I feel like that's always kind of an indicator that maybe that's not it. Yeah.
I was like, geez, that's a choice.
Should I come back later?
Like, I shouldn't be watching this. It's like,
But that to me, I'm like, anytime I see them like be like overly focused on the passionate like version of it, I'm like, it's not the one. It's like, there's sexual chemistry, so we're really gonna exploit that. But like, that's not gonna be the person that he chooses. And then it was like Rachel's giving friend vibes.
Oh yeah,
you know,
sweetheart. But not
so sweet.
Person.
But the only thing I don't get about the Rachel making top 3 is that I can think of at least 3 or 4 other women from this season. He seemed, at least from what we saw, had a better connection with. And it's just like, why didn't they show? I
think it's like the Hawaiian experience. Like I've said this before, but before he met Rachel's family, he was like, there's something there. I don't know what it is. Like we share an experience being in Hawaii. So I almost feel like it's like a curiosity that he's like, we've shared a life.
You know what? Yeah. I think you're right, Justin. You reminded me like what it is to be the Bachelor and how much you appreciate like just being able to have conversations with anyone there, because most of the ladies that you're there are just so nervous and they're trying so hard to make a connection. Rachel does seem someone who's like really comfortable with who she is. She has this natural kind of confidence, you know, just a calming, she seems calm.
Yeah.
And so with that Hawaiian connection, it wouldn't shock me that Joey just like, it was as easy to be on dates with her, not because he thought he was going to fall in love with her, but like all the other women he didn't have connections with, it's painful.
Yeah.
It's
just
there's
like a comfort level with her.
It's so painful to try to pretend to like someone while they're just being ultra aggressive. They probably had a lot to talk about, and there's nothing better on being on that show than having something to talk about with any of these women, because you don't want to be making out with a bunch of people you're not interested in. And usually what happens is when there's awkward pauses, they just grab your face and start making out with you, and it sucks. And so Rachel, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah.
Automatic connection.
Comfort.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Huh. The internet wants Kelsey's dad to be the Golden Bachelor.
I saw that.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't be against that.
No.
I loved him.
I just want to throw it out there. Kelsey, if you do listen to this show, my soon-to-be mother-in-law thinks your dad's hot.
Oh,
Love that.
She finds him very attractive.
Is she single?
She is.
Wow.
She is out here dating in LA.
She's stunning and amazing.
Nally's mom is
stunning.
I'm obsessed with
stunning.
this.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Good luck dating in LA.
I know. Well, she's going back to Alabama soon. But she went on a date. Yeah, yesterday morning.
Nice.
Yeah, she had a coffee date in the morning.
I love that.
And he's in New Orleans.
Look at that hottie.
Yeah, that's near.
He's in New Orleans, not too far from
that's
Alabama.
not far. That's not far.
That's not far.
So
I'm doing long distance. Long distance is a thing.
I'm being
It's
serious,
possible.
Kelsey.
Yeah,
I feel
Kelsey,
like
I
we
did it
should
for 6
coordinate a
Right, you
Zoom
did.
date with your dad and my mother-in-law.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
But only if Nick can be on the Zoom
No.
and like moderating
No,
questions.
no.
But also record it so we can
But
watch
also,
it later.
yes, let's record it so we can like make a show out of it, you know. I'm serious, Kelsey. Let's make it happen. Check out Natalie's mom. She's a total babe. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I love that.
Also, I found out that Joey was a Packer fan. So any criticism I've ever sent his way, I feel bad now.
Take it back.
I regret it.
Although I've been pretty good to Joey.
Do you know Joe? Have you met Joey? Do you know him?
No.
Every time I've met him, he's been such a delight. And I was at the Golden Bachelor wedding, and we chatted there, and he was like in the best mood ever. And I don't read any spoilers, but it's so interesting because I can always try to guess with how their mood is when I'm talking about the upcoming season. Like,
Do you
obviously
think he's with someone? Because I guess they have been selling it as like maybe he could be alone. Which usually when that's the case, it's again,
The
the
opposite.
vibe I got at Golden Bachelor wedding, which has been obviously a couple months now, was that he's not with anybody.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know. That could have
was
just
the
been my
vibe you got.
vibe. Yeah, it wasn't like he was like hitting on anybody, but I'm just saying like
It's like
He was
I was
making
like,
out
well,
with
he
five
asked me out,
girls.
so
that was a single man. Yeah.
no.
This is the new relationship.
I was like, by the way, I'm dating Joey. Is actually what I was saying. So I start dating. I just got a vibe that he didn't get like the ending he was hoping for.
What gave you
wow.
that vibe?
Well, you'll have to see because I'm going to run an interview on Variety.com.
Okay, all right.
Did we all gasp?
When is that coming out?
It's coming out soon. I didn't want to do it honestly too early because I didn't want it to be like spoilery. If he doesn't, I don't know.
We're all like,
Who
should we
knows?
break up with our boyfriends?
I know, right?
Well,
He's
I
such a
mean,
baby. He's such a young boy.
They have been teasing a crazy ending.
I know. I'm
So
very
he could
excited
be
about
alone.
it.
That is
Yeah.
possible.
Oh, man.
I don't know. There were a
7
lot of
years.
single people at that wedding, so he could have found somebody at that wedding. To be honest, I was looking around the room thinking, like, I wish I could see what the hotel rooms looked like tonight because it's gonna be a real fun night
If
for
Joey
people.
is not with someone, my greatest wish for Joey that he does not get into another bachelor
Like
relationship.
Paradise or something.
Yeah, it's and again, nothing against all the wonderful people. It's just
Yeah, no.
It's just how he can't. He's too much of a star relative to the. The power dynamic is just not where it would need to be.
Right.
You know, he would be better off dating either another celebrity outside of Bachelor World or just a normie.
Yeah.
Who knows how to be around celebrities.
Hmm.
Hard to find.
So like a journalist, what you're saying?
A journalist. Yeah. Like a stylist.
Right. Someone who has a
know?
lot of experience with
someone in the
being around
industry,
talent. A
but-
publicist.
Yeah.
Not a publicist.
No.
Let's not say all publicists. Look at me, he's like not a publicist.
No. I love my publicist.
Of course.
But then there's the Rileys of the world.
Yes,
Because
there
there's
are.
a lot of publicists got into publicity because they very much like being around celebrities.
See, but I think in my experience, a lot of them don't care at all about that.
A good
So
one.
I think it's a
good one.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think
There's
that's-
a lot
there's
of
both. We know
yeah,
both.
Yeah. Usually the bad ones find their way to. You have to go through the bad ones before you get to the
yes,
good ones.
this is true.
Mhm.
You have to fire a couple bad ones
Mhm.
before you realize what a bad one is.
Especially if you're on a reality show, there's
Yeah.
some rough ones out
Yeah,
there.
you get a lot of bad
Mhm.
advice if you're a reality TV star.
A good anything is referral only.
Good call.
Yeah,
Good call.
Sorry.
truly.
You
yeah.
know? You got to know a guy to get my number. But I hope Joey ends up happy. I really enjoyed this season. I haven't watched Bachelor in a minute, so I'm one of the restored faith. I'm like, okay, let's get to the finale episode.
Yeah. I'm excited about
If
it.
Joey is either single or we're right and he's with Kelsey, who do you want to see as Bachelorette? Because to me, Daisy was made to be the Bachelorette, but yet the Maria fans seem to be running strong. You don't seem to like. Wow, you
I would
hate both these choices.
I would pick Rachel over Daisy. Daisy
What?
is not as rootable to me.
On what?
Like
What-
Rachel just seems like a nice, normal girl. in
Nice and
comparison-
normal has never made a good Bachelorette.
Which is why
Joey is
Daisy
nice and
doesn't-
normal, and he made a good Bachelor.
That's not how they. That's two
I know,
different.
but
That's
I
two
don't
different
want
seasons.
a hot mess express for a Bachelorette.
You have a point. Daisy is maybe more wholesome than Rachel. So like her.
Wait, Daisy is more wholesome than Rachel? Is that
I
what
think wholesome in the sense
What
of like
is wrong with Daisy?
Nothing's wrong with her. I just don't find her as like likable and rootable as other people do. I don't think.
Really?
I think she's a lot.
Oh, interesting.
Is it the?
I'm like, wait, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
You have blown his mind.
You guys are all looking at me like I have 5 heads.
No, I mean, listen, we love a hot take.
No, I don't know. Maybe it's
But
just me. I just
again, not the person Rachel. She seems lovely,
And
but
so
I
does
could,
Daisy. I
I
have
could not
nothing-
be more bored of Rachel. I mean, there have been some
see, but
moments.
Joey to me was boring because he's nice.
but The Bachelor loves a sweet, unproblematic bachelor.
Right.
And
And
Bachelor
Bachelorette, they,
Nation
like-
wants someone who can speak their mind and stand in their power, even if it comes with a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
That's
Sweet and spicy.
I guess you're right.
They do not want a demure,
Right.
quiet.
How did you
overly-
view Charity?
I mean, she seems like a lovely person.
Right. So you think Charity would, like a Rachel would be like a Charity,
I mean,
whereas like Daisy would be like a Hannah Brown.
No, I don't think Daisy would be like a Hannah
I don't know.
Brown.
I don't
Maria
think.
would be like
I think
a Hannah
Maria would be
Brown.
more like a Hannah Brown.
Maria
Yeah.
to me is like a no go.
Oh, I think she'd be so fun.
I think it would be entertaining. That's why I think.
Sure,
I think
sure.
Daisy. That's why I think Daisy is quintessential Bachelorette. Like she doesn't seem as spicy or as like it's going to be all drama with Daisy.
Mhm.
But she seems to like just her saying to Joey, "I don't even know if I'm into you yet." She seems to be willing not to just say something for the sake of television,
Which is nice,
you know.
yeah.
And I think she has an interesting story. The backstory with her cochlear implants is something she's had to overcome. I think that would be just an interesting dynamic to see how several men would handle,
Yeah.
dating someone who has a hearing impairment. So there's a
I
little
don't
bit.
disagree. I don't disagree with that. I think she has a really good story. I don't know. There's something about her to me that
Her grabbing Joey and making out with him, she seems to be willing to go there.
Yeah.
Where it's just we haven't really. Rachel incredibly reserved.
Mhm.
Like it's just.
Sometimes when they like throw like somebody that was like in like top 10, I was like, what about Lexi?
I also was thinking Lexi.
Lexi could, she's got a good.
I could get behind that.
That's a good story.
yeah.
That's a great
Right?
story.
She's
Because-
on
I've
a
never seen it.
timeline.
Her, the
Yeah.
biological clock and
Endometriosis.
You just get a bunch of mature men who are ready for that.
How old
stage
is
of
she?
life.
How old is she?
Early
Lexi?
30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When last time I spoke to the producers and we were talking about how great Golden did and how obviously Joey's season has been doing well and Charity's season honestly did okay, but it just doesn't compare to the numbers that Golden got, is that they were thinking like we need to go up a little bit more because there isn't right now. It's like children
Up in age, you
basically.
mean?
Yeah.
Okay. How old is Daisy?
So she's like 28.
Joey's
Maria's
28.
29. Lexi's.
Daisy's 25, Lexi's 30.
Oh, Lexi's only 25.
Oh, Lexi's 30.
No,
Oh,
Daisy's
Daisy's
25.
only
Daisy's
25.
and
Lexi's
Lexi's
30.
only.
Daisy's only.
Yeah.
So
Lexi's 30.
I mean, they've casted plenty. I mean, Hannah Brown was, I think, 25.
Yeah.
JoJo was 25. They've had some great bachelorettes
Absolutely.
at 25.
I just think that does add a little bit more life experience if you up the age a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more critical when it comes to the bachelors being so young
Yeah,
than
I
the
agree.
bachelorettes.
I would agree with that.
Like I just,
Yeah.
it's so, to me, rings so false when these bachelors act like they've never had a girlfriend
Right.
and
That's
don't know how to talk
insane.
to women.
Well, we even saw
And-
that with his timeline.
Well, Joey, I mean, we don't know much about him. And again, he's teased a little bit this episode, but like, if nothing else, Joey, you can tell he knows how to be around women.
Right.
Mhm.
And they've literally have had some of our most recent bachelors. You're honestly wondering if
They ever had a
being the
conversation.
bachelor was the first time they've ever been approached or by a woman.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of weird television, Like, no offense, guys.
This is their first date. Was night one.
They
It gives that. I get
so.
it.
But Joey does not give that.
No,
Joey
no.
gives. He is very comfortable with dating.
Mhm. Personable.
very personable. Has a lot of
Charisma.
has riz
He is
is
the-
the
yeah,
is their
as
say,
the kids
as
say.
as the kids say. So wow. So not Daisy, not Maria.
Yeah, I
And
could
then if
see
he's not-
Lexi. Lexi, I could go for.
I could
think.
definitely see Lexi.
Yeah,
That'd be good television. That's a great
Yeah, that's a good
storyline.
pick.
She's
Mhm.
beautiful.
She's
I
so
think
beautiful.
that would be one I would really want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
But I think Maria would be a lot of fun too.
I think there'd be entertaining moments for sure. You're
Mhm.
not on the Maria board,
I'm not.
and why? Do
I
you?
think she's hard to root for. Also,
Why? Because a lot of people don't agree with you.
I know. I'm not sure.
It's
if-
a drama.
The drama to
Yeah.
me, I know that drama is better TV, and that's what people want to watch. But like that makes me want to watch it less.
Do you think she almost scripted her storyline?
100%.
Like even her exit, she knew enough to.
Yeah, like-
I'm not. You're not.
Whether
to-
she was like asking producers, like what looks good, that's
forcing
kind of the
Joey
vibe.
to send her home.
The kind of vibe I got. I think she's probably a very lovely girl, but I just don't. I don't think she would be in my opinion. I don't think a bachelorette would be. So she would be the bachelorette I'd want to watch.
Interesting. Okay.
Not
Well,
to-
they seem to have some good choices.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And with the finale being I don't know what it is, but they, again, continue to tease it as
some first time
ever. And those tens of moments seem to produce their next leads because there's nothing more powerful than the lasting impression that we have. So whoever your runner-up is, I would think would be
likely
if there is a runner-up.
Or it's the woman if he
whoever he
if
screws
something,
over the
yeah.
most.
Thanks, Joey. You're setting it up.
If that is the case. So interesting. All right. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to have you.
I'll come anytime.
You please do. We
Absolutely.
expect you back.
I'll be here.
And please let my audience know where they can follow you, find you, enjoy all the great work that you're doing.
Yeah, at Emily Longeretta on all platforms, and then mvariety.com. You guys can read all of my stuff.
All right, well, check out all of Emily's great stuff. I'm sure she'll be back. Thank you guys for listening. As always, don't forget, this Thursday, the one and only AD makes her podcast debut. Post Love is Blind reunion. We'll be breaking down said reunion as well. Plus, go in depth. We'll go deeper with AD and get all of your burning questions answered about her being left at the altar. Don't forget to send in your questions at AskNick@theViallFiles.com for all things texting hours. Ask Nick. You know that, Joe, we have an amazing episode with Dr. Phil this week on Ask Nick. Be sure to check that out. Go check out our birthing story with Natalie and I. We'll make you cry. If you haven't done that yet, then you don't care about us. Then what the fuck? Also, if you haven't listened to the Sandoval episode, it's very giving. Gypsy Rose interviewed with us. I'm just here to promote all our episodes. Go back and binge, guys. All right, bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.